What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Thursday edition of NBA Live here at FTNDaily.com, presented to you as always by Superdraft Daily Fantasy. My name is Zach Graham, aka Kawhisenberg DFS. And Thomas, I forgot whatever you put on the YouTube description. I saw it yesterday, but I know it was clever.
It was something about being muted.
I'll have to go take a look. Maybe somebody in the chat who's watching on YouTube. First, hit that like button, and then let me know what Thomas put in the description for my daily nickname. I'm here alongside my good buddy, my FTN NBA Podcast co-host, which we will be doing another live hour for the pod here right after lock. So stick around if you feel so inclined. A nice 2-hour stream ahead of us. But Adam, getting ahead of myself here, you got the Cavs jersey on. We got all-star reserves announced later. How you feeling today?
I'm good, man. I just any day I can talk basketball, I am thrilled. Happy birthday, by the way. Spurs going with the tank again. Get a Thad Young showcase game for the trade deadline. I know about your plan, and after that Golden State collapse, it's coming together.
So first of all, I will take a random day in February where it seems like everything's going right for my Spurs tank plan here. Of mutes and men, by the way. So shout out producer Thomas.
Your face was priceless when you realized Eddie was muted yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, I know, right? A couple of good screenshots too by the subs in the Discord. Here's some news. Right before we went live, Khem Birch went from out to questionable to available in about 90 seconds. So Khem Birch appears like he will make his return tonight for the Raptors, still waiting on their starting lineup. That game going off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. 6-game slate here, 2 games at 7 now that Spurs and Heat is moved up to 7 p.m. Eastern due to the inclement weather here in South Central Texas. Another game, Minnesota-Detroit there at 7, 2 games at 7:30 Eastern, and then 2 games all the way at 10 Eastern make up this 6-game slate. Some other news coming in here right as we went live. Zach LaVine, who was downgraded to questionable this morning, is available to play with that back injury. So I guess, 54 minutes and change here till we hit lock for the main slate. We'll go game by game, no show preceding us. And again, the hour of the FTN NBA podcast to come. Let's jump right into it. Let's start Minnesota-Detroit because maybe I'm hoping in the next 5-10 minutes, maybe we get a Spurs lineup or something like that. We did get the projected lineup, but I remember all the way back like 2 weeks ago, right, when Derek White came back, Pop said in his pregame media availability, Derek White's he's not going to start or anything. He won't play 30 minutes. Played 30 minutes. So we'll wait for the actual lineup and hopefully get that soon. But like I mentioned, Minnesota at Detroit here. And some news in this game that will certainly shape our views on these two teams. Pat Beverly in, D'Angelo Russell out again. Josh Okogie was in, and now he's out. And on the Detroit side, Cade Cunningham will miss tonight's game. So Kyle Murray down in the dumps. Josh Jackson also out with his back injury for the Pistons. So let's start with the visiting Timberwolves here, Adam. Karl Anthony Towns up top, Anthony Edwards. Both of these guys have taken their turns having ceiling games with this, I think, 3-game stretch now of D'Angelo Russell out. We've seen more success, in my opinion, lately from Karl Anthony Towns, but 2 of his last 5 games for Ant over 61 DK points. Are you prioritizing either of these studs from the Wolves?
So we have for like high-end players on this slate, like we lost DeJounte, who's out. Obviously, LeBron not expected to play. Then you have Curry, but like this is a slate, like you said, 6 games where you don't have Luka or Jokic or Giannis. So yeah, Towns and Edwards with Russell out are very high on my radar. Minnesota has been playing really well lately, and they could, without Cade Cunningham, this game could get out of hand, but still, like, the matchup is so good. We've seen Karl Anthony Towns the last couple games with D'Angelo Russell out become a facilitator on top of everything else he does, which is just getting him back to that 55, 60-point upside that we didn't see at as consistent of a level when this entire team was pretty much active, but the assists have been up lately. You look at the last week for Karl Anthony Towns, he has a 22% assist rate. Like, that's absurd. So yeah, I love Towns here, and I also love Anthony Edwards because he's coming off an absolute dud of a game. And on this slate, I don't think he's going to be popular at all. But we've seen Anthony Edwards absolutely break a slate, land in the optimal lineup, and especially with Russell out. I wrote about it in the first look today, but Edwards is top 6 in transition scoring and points per game at 5.5. The Pistons allow the 6th most transition points per game. We know this defense is not good. They also, according to FTN's advanced DVP tool, 25th against primary ball handlers, 23rd against scorers, and 24th against crafty finishers. I love Anthony Edwards here, especially with the price coming down. Not as much attention on him. I love Edwards. I love Towns, but especially Edwards in tournaments. I think he's one of the best tournament plays of the slate. And then there's still some value here, right? I don't think you have to go to Beverly on this slate with some of the Spurs value and a potential point guard value on the other side of this game. But if you get to 3,800. Jaden McDaniels, who seems to be locked into like 27 to 30 minutes, I think he's viable at 3,800. So I like about 3 or 4 players from this team. And then Jared Vanderbilt's kind of like a fine mid-range play, but he's probably not going to make a lot of lineups just because of the other options at the position. But yeah, long story short, I love Edwards, I love Towns, and I love McDaniels.
I think we're fairly similar on that. I do like to hear that you were using the advanced DVP tool here at FTN Daily to look at some of these Timberwolves players, because I did the exact same thing with Karl Anthony Towns. And I think if you can get there, I would slightly prefer to roster Cat, especially on our sponsor Superdraft. Edwards still picking up a 1.25x multiplier over there, so absolutely in play. But especially if you're going to roster somebody like Anthony Davis and use his forward eligibility over there, Cat is the center to roster. Thad Young, forward eligible also on Superdraft. So we'll get to the Spurs in the next game. How about some of the guys at the bottom of this roster? We've kind of seen Jordan Mclaughlin over the last 2 games, certainly started 2 games ago before Pat Bev came back, and then somewhat has not really taken Jalen Noel's role, but got on top of him in terms of minutes the last 2 games and got the blowout run last time. I only asked about McLaughlin because I see Jaywin asking if McLaughlin and Towns are okay together, and he tagged David. McLaughlin didn't even really cross my mind as somebody who would enter my pool. I would have none with all the other value that we're going to get to. I would have none in 20 lineups and maybe none in 150. What's your take on these guys down here? Beasley, etc.
The only thing I'll say about McLaughlin is, like you said, he got the blowout run, and Minnesota's still like 7-point road favorites here without Russell, I believe, unless that line did move. So there is a chance he gets blowout run and gets 28 minutes again. But when you have, Trey Jones, who I believe is expected to start for San Antonio at pretty much the same price, it's tough to get there. But if you're running a bunch of lineups, I don't hate it. And I think you can play him and Towns together, because if the game blows out, you have to think Towns has something to do with it. Especially that assist rate with Towns, I think, is going overlooked on this slate with Russell out. He's been getting 5, 6, 7, 8 assists the last couple games. I mentioned the massive assist rate, so that only adds to his floor and ceiling combo.
Let's flip to the Detroit side here. Obviously, Cade Cunningham out. We've seen plenty of examples with him out, even just to start the season. Missed the first 3 or 4 games back then. Missed a couple since then as well. But with him out, that leaves Jeremy Grant, who came back last game, played about 28.5 minutes in his return from the thumb injury and then the COVID-19 protocols. He's the most expensive Piston on DraftKings, 6'5", power forward only. You've got guys like Sadiq Bey, Hamidou Diallo, probably coming into more usage with Cade Cunningham out, certainly more minutes opportunity. The front court back to being relatively healthy here. I guess the only knock would be if you consider Josh Jackson maybe a 4, but you've got Kelly O back. Beef Stew is healthy. Trey Lyles is there. I guess to me, the 2 guys that really stand out here, at least at first glance, are Jeremy Grant at 6'5" with no Cade Cunningham, and Corey Joseph expected, I think, to get the start at the 1 at 4'3". So how do you feel about those guys?
Yep. Absolutely agree. Corey Joseph, 20% assist rate with Cade Cunningham off the floor this season. And Cunningham played 21 minutes before leaving with the hip injury last game. Joseph saw a very nice 69 touches, which are up from his season average of about 52 per game. So if you kind of think, okay, if Cunningham, now that he's rolled out, maybe that gets up to 30 to 32 minutes for Joseph and up to like maybe 75 touches, which is a pretty healthy number. So at 4,300, I do like Joseph quite a bit. And it's weird, like, given some of the news we got, and obviously the Spurs we'll talk about and some other, situations, Jeremy Grant, I think, is going to go more overlooked than he probably should on this slate with Cunningham out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand his first game back, last game, only 28 minutes, and he's actually not been that efficient with Cunningham off the floor, just under 0.9 fantasy points per minute, but a decent 26% usage rate and like 6.5 for Jeremy Grant. I just think that's too cheap, and I have a lot of interest. And then we've seen Hamidou Diallo and Sadiq Bey break slates. I write up the first look article all the time, and I put the opto from the previous slate, and so many times I see Sadiq Bey and Hamidou Diallo go off for like 60. We've seen that stretch where Diallo went off. Of course, that was with no Cunningham and no Jeremy Grant, but Diallo, he's a high usage player, and I think Sadiq Bey, Diallo, and Grant take like all the shots in this game, and Joseph will take some, and Frank Jackson, whatever, but like I think it's very possible that one of Diallo or Sadiq Bey could land in the opto. So I have some moderate interest, but still, you don't project Diallo with Grant there now to play 30 minutes and have the usage he had earlier in the season. So really, it's Joseph, Jeremy Grant, who I think is going to go a little bit more overlooked than he probably should. That really stand out for the Pistons.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. And Brock chiming in here in the Discord saying, would you not rather go Killian Hayes over Corey Joseph? We don't have a starting five there, right? We just have.
I haven't seen it now.
I think we're still going to get Corey Joseph at the 1, and my guess would be you slide Hamidou Diallo back in there
because Joseph had been starting, right? He's been starting with Cunningham.
Yeah.
So,
but I would say that Corey Joseph in that, admittedly, I have not watched as much Detroit basketball maybe as like Kyle Murray in the last week. But I think that Corey Joseph is playing the 2 for the most part in that lineup. I would slide him down to the 1 and bring back Hamidou, but we'll see. Killian Hayes absolutely could start at the 1, and in that scenario, I think that would be something where we need to look at the ownership after we would get that update and make a decision from there. I'm probably a bigger fan of Killian Hayes, both from a real basketball standpoint and daily fantasy than most. And we know the type of upside he has. I wish he was a little bit cheaper than that 4K tag if he gets the start, but that's something we can circle back around to. That game, again, going off at lock. So we should get the lineup. Do you have any, and I apologize if I missed it while I was responding to some people in chat, do you have any takes on the front court here that's jumbled together price-wise? Kelly O, power forward eligible, Trey Lyles, power forward eligible, 5K and 4.6 respectively, and then Beef Stew in the middle at 4.7?
I mean, we've seen Stewart have ceiling games if he can play close to 30 minutes, but I just don't think you have to go there. Minnesota's defense quietly been one of the best defenses in the NBA the last month or so. Like, they've been really good. Towns still, isn't like an elite defender by any means, but he's been better. And Jared Vanderbilt's been their best defender. He's been fantastic. So I just don't think it's a particularly great matchup. And like you said, Lyles, Stewart, Olynyk now back, all playing enough minutes to kind of just make no one stand out for me.
I think if I had to take a shot on somebody there, it would be Kelly Olynyk, somebody that can really put up a nice fantasy number in a short amount of time, and maybe somebody that, if Beef Stew struggles to guard Cad, and the same thing with Trey Lyles, maybe you get Kelly O into the mid-20s in minutes, and at 5K, I think that's somebody I would want to have some exposure to. For context, I would probably have 1 or 2 shares of Kelly O if I was building 20 lineups on this slate. Let me make sure I refresh Kyle's projections here. So I've got.
I was going to ask you, have you seen like Jeremy Grant at all? I am not looking. I'm legitimately curious in terms of how popular he might be, because I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he will be more popular. But with the way the slate kind of changed the last hour or so, plus his second game back, like, I don't know.
We've got Jeremy Grant currently right around 20% projected ownership. Sadiq Bey 11%. What's jumping off the page to me here, and again, this will shift.
I think that should be tighter.
In terms of those guys closer together?
Yes.
Sure. I don't necessarily disagree. I think I still would much rather have Jeremy Grant
Agree.
in this scenario. And I also think that a 4.5% on Corey Joseph, 4% on Killian Hayes, that could definitely change once we get that starting lineup. If Corey Joseph is single digit owned, I would want to be at least double the field in my MME builds on that. Corey Joseph, by no means a lock in like a single lineup, but would be a strong play if he does get the start at the one. Let's go ahead and move on to the other game here at lock and pick it up a little bit. Maybe we'll have to do that on some of the later games because we'll spend a good amount of time on this one. The Heat visiting the Spurs. Again, this game moved up to 7 Eastern. No Yurtseven, no Oladipo, no Caleb Martin, no Markieff Morris for the Heat. Jimmy Butler, I believe not technically confirmed in, but trending towards playing tonight. I think we all expect him to be in. Same kind of deal with PJ Tucker. And then on the Spurs side, DeJounte Murray out, Jakob Poeltl out, Doug McDermott out, Jock Landale out, and then Zach Collins and Keita Bates-Diop also still out for the Spurs team. So let's start with the visitors here. I believe 6.5-point favorites here are the Heat. 116 implied team total now for the Heat. So you got Butler at 9.4 on DK. Bam, center only, 8.4. Kyle Lowry back for this team tonight. Pretty lengthy personal absence here for Kyle Lowry. First game back since January 15th. Tyler Hero at 6.2. So looking at the top of Miami, kind of the 4 stud players on this team, do any of them jump out to you over the others as a priority to take on this shorthanded San Antonio squad?
I love the matchup for Bam. The Spurs have struggled to defend, roll men all year, but Bam's now priced up appropriately. Plus Lowry's expected to be back. Plus this game could be over by halftime. Like nobody on the Heat really stands out. If you play, because a lot of people are going to play multiple Spurs. If you want to run it back with somebody, sure. I mean, Butler and Bam have that nice floor ceiling combo. Individually though, Bam would be my favorite, but nobody in Miami like truly stands out as a priority for me on the slate.
I think if I had to go somewhere here, and it's not like if I had, nobody's going to have to force me to get to Jimmy Butler today at 9.4 against this team. There are other guys in that price range on DraftKings that I would rather get to. Certainly Anthony Davis. I think when we get to this game, you could make a case for either of those Phoenix studs. I think Russell Westbrook is in the conversation tonight in that price range as well. But Jimmy Butler, obviously triple-double upside. Really,
by the way, smart of you to talk about Westbrook being in play before Joe gets on stream.
Yeah, so we'll get the Westbrook talk out of the way so we don't have to mention
What if he makes the All-Star team?
We'll have to see, man. Like we said before we went live, I think at least one of us three will be tilting something here once we get the reserves. But yeah, so the upside of Jimmy Butler, we all know that it's there. Small and power forward eligible. You've got a little bit of positional versatility there. Bam Adebayo. I think I may be a little bit higher on him if there weren't so many other center plays that I prefer today. But with no Jakob Poeltl in there, I think he's fine to get to. I'm probably straying away from Kyle Lowry in favor of Tyler Hero if I'm going to one of those two for the $1,100 discount. And what I think is similar upside, and both of those guys probably not going to be very owned right now. Kyle's got Jimmy at 21, Bam at 12, and then only 1.5% Kyle Lowry, 5.5% Tyler Hero. So I would play at least one Tyler Hero share if I was running my 20 lineups tonight, just because when he's that low owned, we know the upside that he has, even though he hasn't shown it lately on a slate like this. That's somebody that you don't have to play a ton of to get over the field if you are mass multi-entering. So I would have some interest there. But with Kyle Lowry back and kind of the rest of this team getting healthier, I have less interest in, or I should say no interest in getting to a guy like Gabe Vincent with Kyle Lowry back. If you wanted to take a shot or two certainly in 150 lineups on Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, those two guys are fine. But no real priorities for me at the bottom half of Miami.
Yep.
Spurs side, we talked about the inactives. Most expensive player on DraftKings is Derek White, followed by Keldan Johnson, and then everybody else sub 4.5K. I think the big piece here to talk about, and I expect I'm going to see a 50+% number here when I pull up the Spurs. Kyle's got him at 43% owned right now, that being Thad Young, power forward eligible, getting the start at the 5 here, the flat 3K minimum on DraftKings. Let me check what his positional eligibility is over there on FanDuel. Power forward only. So he's not taking up your center spot, but no positional flexibility there as we get news that DeAndre Ayton will play, Jay Crowder will play, as expected. Both of those guys were probable. And Donovan Mitchell finally cleared that concussion protocol, so hopefully we see him return in the coming days. Thad Young, it's really hard for me not to just go ahead and lock him here, Adam, with that power forward eligibility. I know that the ownership is going to get up there, but Thad Young is a guy that even if he gets 24 minutes in this spot, and I think he's got upside for more, if he gets that many minutes in this spot, it's hard for me to see him putting up a score that you don't have to have at the end of the night. He's by far the best 3K play in that price range on the entire 6-game slate. So I guess start with Thad. Are you in lockstep with me on wanting all the Thad you can get, or maybe are you kind of fading him in tournaments for some of these other guys?
I mean, we've talked on the pod a lot about trade deadline and player veterans that can help championship teams, and Thaddeus Young's been talked about a lot. So if you're the Spurs, who clearly Thaddeus Young has not even been part of the rotation very often when they've been at close to full strength, and again, it's Popovich, so who knows, but like, I don't know how you don't play him at least like 22 to 25 minutes here, showcase him for a trade potentially. And where he's priced. Thad Young he's not like an elite fan. Obviously he's not an elite fantasy. He's not like an incredible fantasy point producer, but he can get steals. He can get stocks. He's going to walk into rebounds playing center for this team. And there should be usage on that team. So yeah, I mean, it's tough not to go right to him. Let me ask you as the Spurs fan, how many minutes do you expect from Thad Young, which is probably a dumb question because, again, it's Popovich, and like would pivoting in some lineups, if you're running a bunch of lineups, to E-Banks make any sense in tournaments?
Yeah, right now I've got Thad for 24. I've got 20 on Drew Eubanks. Drew Eubanks, somebody that Popovich never wants to play big minutes, only twice in his career. It's like 146 appearances, I think. I might be shorting that number by a few, but only surpassed 24 and a half minutes twice in those 140.
Maybe Thad starting at center is all we need to know about it.
Yeah, exactly. And then I've got 4 minutes going to Devontae Cacok, who is up from the Austin Spurs, along with Joe Wieskamp. But Wieskamp, not somebody we need to worry about. Cacok should factor in to that center rotation, albeit minimally. Let's talk kind of the backcourt here and the wings. Derek White, 6K, I think, is a really strong play. Still going to start at the 2, or at least that's what we expect. Trey Jones at 3-6 to start at the 1. I do have a good amount of interest in getting to Trey Jones if he does get that start, but I don't think I'm going to go as heavy as I did the last time we saw this Spurs team shorthanded where Derek White was also out. I think there's a lot more ways for a guy like Trey Jones to fail tonight than somebody like Thad Young. And in that mid-range, Keldan Johnson is fine. I always like him a lot more when Jakob Poeltl is out. But between him and Vassell and Lonnie, those guys kind of in that 4 to 5K range, Devin Vassell is my favorite out of those 3. So do you have priorities from that range?
Yeah, it's weird because obviously I write up first look in the morning and Keldan Johnson was on my radar. Now this was with Murray questionable, but we already knew Poeltl and Jock Landale would be out. But remember last year down the stretch where Keldan Johnson was getting like 8 rebounds every game, it felt like? Like his rebounds were really strong, and it's been up and down this year, obviously. I think a lot of that has to do with Jakob Poeltl wasn't playing consistently 32 minutes like he's been playing this year lately. But like you said, like 21% rebounding rate, so it climbs with Poeltl off the floor. The usage should be higher with Murray off the floor. He's about 0.9 points per minute with both players off the floor this season. And he's been one of the more, I don't want to say efficient, but he's been, he's spotted up as much as any player in the league the last couple years. He's top 5 in spot up points per game. Miami allows the second most spot up points per game on defense. So the individual matchup, yes, Miami maybe the best defense in basketball. They can switch on everything. They're really good. But if Keldan Johnson, who, by the way, might be like the most overlooked Spur because he's like Derek White projects as a better play just because he's going to have the ball in his hands more and he's got about a 20% assist rate. And then you have Vassell, Lonnie Walker in the low to mid 4K range, and then we talked about Thaddeus Young. So like by default, I think Keldan Johnson goes overlooked because he's almost 6K. But his minutes were already like massive, like 35. I think it was around 37 minutes per game over his last 4 or 5. Now there's no Pirtle. Now there's no Murray. I think Keldan Johnson is still a really strong play here. But again, I'm not breaking any news. Like Walker, Vassell, Trey Jones, Derek White, Thaddeus Young, all project as some of the best plays at slate. And it's not just DeJounte Murray being out. It's not just Pirtle being out. Doug McDermott was playing 30 minutes a game. And then Keita Bates-Diop, who's been in the health and safety protocols, has been playing like 27 to 30 minutes and starting. So it's not just the absences of Pirtle and Murray, but McDermott and Bates-Diop being out opens up like 60 minutes.
Yeah, I think like for me, the fact that the minutes have already increased to the level they've been at, as you mentioned, over the last 4 games, it just kind of, I feel like he's clearly at almost the minute ceiling. Like if Pop's going to play him 40 plus minutes tonight, that would be very surprising to me.
No,
so
he won't. And the Spurs
kind of
still have 11
the
guys,
same.
right?
12, I think.
Right.
No, I think you're right. It's 11. It's 11.
So it's not like they're in a situation where they'd have 9, 8 players and Keldan Johnson.
Exactly.
Like I agree. Like I think 35 should be expected again, but I wouldn't expect him to get to 40, which again, it's not like he's 7, 8K, so he doesn't have to get to 40 minutes.
Right. Well, and the thing is too, like I'm kind of poo-pooing the minutes increase, right? Because he's already playing upper 30s, but the performances he's put out over the last week, you would not hate on this slate at this price, I don't think, especially that 38-point performance against Chicago 3 games ago and that surprising win. And I do think that he's more live for the double-double tonight than he is at any point when Jakob Poeltl is in. So I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't get to Keldan Johnson, a very healthy 8 ranking on him. Let me double check. I'm not talking out of my ass here. Yep, 8 ranking on both. I mean, he's strong on Superdraft as well. Our sponsor over there, guard forward eligible in 1.65x for Keldan, but play Thad at 2x over him, please. So anything else from this game? We're ready to move on. I know we spent a lot of time on those first 2.
No, I just I can tell you're still so bitter about that Bulls victory. You bring it up all the time.
Like what? Where does that come from? All right, we'll do that shit on the pod. Let's go to the 7:30 games here. Phoenix at.
Oh wait, real
Atlanta.
quick, we did get a question in Discord about the Spurs. It was like I think it was from Doug. Essentially, I can't scroll up right now, but it was essentially along the lines of like, how many max Spurs would you play in a GPP lineup? I think it was.
I was just typing the answer to that same question for Anthony in the chat, so we can just talk about it here. I think 3 is kind of the magic number for me tonight. I would be happy with 2. You can get away with 4, but I would be many lineups in before I did that because there's plenty of other palatable options from the other 11 teams on this slate. The Heat will start Lowry, Robinson, Butler, Tucker, and Adebayo, so Duncan Robinson back in there with his boys in the starting lineup. 3-8, if he gets hot against this first team, could really get on top of that price tag. Again, I mentioned I'm fine getting to him.
I do think the Spurs have struggled against players off screens too. So if Duncan Robinson gets hot, I guess don't be shocked. I always forget about him because Hero's been 6th man of the year, and it's weird because like I don't know why I forget about him because they've been missing so many players. But like Caleb Martin stepped up. Max Strus has kind of like been more hyped up in his performances this year off the bench and in spot starts. But yeah, I mean, Duncan Robinson's still under 4K. And like, I guess you look at it on a site like DraftKings where you get that 3-point bonus. The question is like the ceiling for minutes is probably like 27. But again, he's 3-8. If he can walk into some threes, it wouldn't shock me. Have they played the Spurs this? No, they haven't. So.
Let's see. Anthony says, how about 0? He was fucking setting me up for that. He was waiting for me to respond to that for the last 10 minutes. Before we move on, Josh asking Butler too expensive with Lowry back. No, not in my opinion.
No, I just
still fine.
I think he's priced fine. It's just he's not.
It's kind of
priority.
accurate.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
how mad are you going to be if the Spurs win? By the way.
We'll find out live, right? we'll see the first half, I guess, or be able to follow along. Phoenix at Atlanta here. Ayton and Crowder, as we said, are in. Frank Kaminsky, campaign, Landry Shamet, Abdel Nader out for the Suns. Still waiting on Trae Young news. He's a game time decision. I believe DeAndre Hunter not confirmed in, but probable expected to play. Lou Williams out for Tenacious D Jones. Hawks. Let's start with the visitors here. We kind of touched on them before. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, both been fantastic over the last 2 weeks. Devin Booker, maybe some vengeance performances here for not being named a starter. And then Chris Paul has just been on another level. The 9-7 price tag, a little bit of sticker shock there, but when you look at what he's done over his last 7 games, absolutely warranted. So I guess start up top, talk to me about the Suns, and then maybe any other interest you have down the roster.
So this time last year, we were hoping Chris Paul would get to 32 minutes. Yeah. He was in like the mid to low 7. I mean, he got up to like low 7K range.
Yeah.
Now, with whatever reason, whether it's campaigns absent, I know Elfrid Payton's playing like 13, 12 minutes, but like for whatever reason now in close games, Chris Paul is playing 38 to 40 minutes. And with how good he is on a permanent basis, if you're getting an extra 6-7 minutes per game from Chris Paul, yeah, you're going to see games like he's been performing. So if Trae Young plays, and I expect him to play, the line has started to move in favor of Atlanta lately. Trae Young's been participating in his pregame usual warm-ups and stuff and shoot around. I expect Trae Young to play, and if that's the case, I like Chris Paul again. I would prefer him slightly over Booker just because we're seeing Chris Paul just walk into double-doubles. The assist rate has been massive. The potential assists have been massive. So Chris Paul is my favorite player from this entire game. Again, assuming Trae Young's active, which I do think he will be. Yeah, but you can go right back to Paul and Booker, who will probably be overlooked on this slate. Atlanta's defense has been better over the last month. They're like middle of the road, whereas they were like bottom 3. But still, Phoenix, best team in the NBA. And I was thinking about this earlier, like, do people realize this team is 41-9? Like, I feel like they're just not being talked about enough. They're 41-9. Like, they're
also,
50 games.
Isn't this the second double-digit win streak that they've had already?
They won 18 in a row after starting like 1-3. They won 18 in a row, and now they're at 11 in a row. They are
we
so
still 40% of the season to go.
Yeah, they're on pace for 67 wins, and there's even talks of them getting like an Eric Gordon. That like they're so good. Like they missed DeAndre Ayton for like half the year.
Young.
Yeah, no, seriously though. Like if they want to go small, because remember I think in the playoffs last year they would go small with Saric before he got hurt. So like. Yeah, this team is so good. But having said that, for fantasy, I don't like anybody other than Booker and Paul. Can't play Cam Johnson at 5-1 with Crowder back. Ayton, like, the matchup's okay. He played 28 minutes. I just don't want to go there on this slate. And I love Mikal Bridges as a player. He's been back-to-back awesome scoring performances. Mm-hmm. But he's been shooting out of his mind, and he's up to 6'4". I just think that's too expensive for Bridges, despite the minutes being massive for him. Like, Mikal Bridges is if he was on a team with a larger, more consistent role, he would be awesome for fantasy, and he's good enough for fantasy in certain spots. But as a real-life player, he is one of the reasons why this team is so good. I love Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I love him more as a real basketball player than a fantasy asset, especially at this price.
You know who could use Mikal Bridges?
Every team?
Yes, but the Philadelphia 76ers.
They absolutely could. Not like they ever had him in their organization. About 12 minutes there a couple years ago, right? I don't really have.
That was
much
Zaire
to add.
Smith, right?
That was Zaire Smith. So, yeah.
Who played like
Trae Young
20 minutes in the
available to
NBA.
play. DeAndre Hunter available as expected. So let's go ahead and swing over to that side. The last thing I'll say on Phoenix, I do prefer continuing to chase this Chris Paul production over Devin Booker if I have to choose one, but I do like getting to shares of both if you are running multiple lineups with Trae Young in on the other side, 9-9 on DK, 9K flat over there on FanDuel, 1.05x, I believe, on our sponsor Superdraft. Pretty wide chasm salary-wise between him and the rest of this team, but now that he's in 22 minutes and change until lock, 52 minutes until this game tips off. Do you have interest in Trae, maybe trying to get over the field in tournaments now?
I don't really have interest in anybody on this team. Okay. If you land on Trae Young, sure. I mean, he's awesome. He's under 10K. He could go off. We know that. But I prefer Chris Paul in the same game. We'll talk about Westbrook and some other. Like, I just don't love this team, especially now with like Clint Capella is affordable, right? The problem is he's not closing games.
Yeah.
They've not been closing with him. He's been under 30 minutes. The matchup's not good. But he's playing enough to where he's playing with John Collins, which hurts John Collins' rebounding production, although it's been better lately. If I had to choose one player from this game outside of Trae Young, it would probably be John Collins at 6,300 on DraftKings. I think it's reasonable for him, where you don't need like a 45, 50-point game from him. Mm-hmm. But other than that, like I was earlier in the day, I had a little bit of interest in Kevin Huerter, but Hunter there, Trae Young back. Nobody really stands out from this team. Obviously, Bogdanovic takes a bump with Trae Young back. Mm-hmm. Just nobody's really standing out. And again, I think I pointed this out in our Slack chat. It stinks that this team can't trade Clint Capella until next year or till the summer, because it'd be so much easier for fantasy if we just had Capella gone, they trade for an impact player, then they just play Okongwu all the minutes at center, because he's been fantastic and he's been a reason why Capella's not closing.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And in terms of the plays here on DraftKings, it's Trae Young, John Collins for me, and the rest of these guys are afterthoughts at this point on this slate. Not going to argue with you if you want to play a Kevin Huerter, a DeAndre Hunter, a Bogdan Bogdanovic at a sub 5K price tag, but they certainly don't jump off the page to me as places to attack as priorities on this slate. The other game going off here at 7:30, Chicago at Toronto. The Bulls will have Zach LaVine available tonight with that back injury. Alonzo Ball and Alex Caruso remain out alongside Derek Jones Jr., who is center only on DraftKings. Just as a note, Toronto side, I mentioned at the top that Kim Birch, although was listed out right around 5:40 Eastern time, 5:43-ish, he became questionable, and at like 5:45 he was available. So coming back from that nose injury, we'll wait to see if he jumps right back into the starting lineup or not. And for me, Adam, that's going to have a pretty big impact on how I want to attack this Raptors team right now, or at least I should say with Kim Birch out. I really wanted to get to Pascal Siakam out of any of these guys, especially up top. But if Siakam has to slide back down to the 4 and Kim Birch gets in there at the 5, I would prioritize Fred VanVleet out of the 2, or the pair of Siakam and VanVleet. So how do you feel about this Raptors team?
I mean, you got to start with their best player, right? Gary Trent.
So I was just saying in chat to, I forget who was asking about Gary Trent 10 minutes ago, but it's definitely not crazy to go back to him. Like,
I think he's still too cheap.
Well, it's not just this recent run that he's been on. Like, he was hovering in this price range really before his injury and before, I believe, his stint in the COVID protocols.
It's just the same thing it is with everybody from this team. It's just minutes. Like,
yeah. But it's also like, is Gary Trent now a 30-point per game guy?
Yes.
And now and going
rest
forward?
of the season, he's him or Durant who scores more.
Like, we both know, like, the sarcasm, yes. But, like, it's an ownership question for me. So pulling up, refreshing to make sure I have the most recent Kyle projections here. And there was an update, so glad I did that. If you're looking at Gary Trent, only 16.5% projected ownership. Right. That's not crazy. So I'm fine if you want to go back there. I'm just hesitant. Like, I want to be off that train before it crashes.
And you bring up like how popular he might, like if you told me Gary Trent, who's on this ridiculous stretch, he scored 30 real points in 4 or 5 straight games. He's shooting insane from 3, 6 of 10, 9 of 15, 5 of 15, 6 of 10, 5 of 10. If you told me he would be one of the most popular plays of the slate, that's someone that you can just get off of, because if the shooting percentages come down, the peripherals aren't following. Like, he's not keeping peripherals. The peripherals haven't been there. But like you said, like, he's still underpriced in my opinion. He's taken at least 20 shots in 5 straight games. And it's not like he's been doing this with everybody out. He's been doing this with Siakam active, with VanVleet active, with OG active, with Barnes active. So just from the fact that the price hasn't really moved enough, I still have interest in Trent. I think the Siakam point's interesting because if Siakam does start at center again, you love the matchup. And it's a good matchup regardless, because we know the one true weakness of this team for Chicago is the power forward position, which is why they're in on Jeremy Grant and some of these power forwards. But either way, it's a good matchup for Siakam. But again, you maybe take away some of the rebounding opportunities and potential if Ken Birch does start at the 5. either way, though, Siakam will play minutes at the 5 in this game, you would imagine. But you want him to start there and get matched up with Vucevic, who is not, going to be able to defend him. And, I mean, Van Vliet, like, he has been underwhelming lately. The floor is solid, but that floor also isn't accompanied by an egregious price tag. Like, he's still under 9K and still, I believe, leads the NBA in minutes per game. And if there's anybody you project to play 40 minutes on a given night, well, I guess it's one of the 5 players in the starting lineup from this team, or 4 players if Birch starts. So it's just tough to not be interested in Toronto when they're playing 40 minutes every single game. Like, you can't really just say, no, like, this player from Toronto is a bad play, because most of them are good fantasy point-per-minute players and they're playing 38 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, so one thing I was talking with producer Thomas here. Since we started, you cut out for me for like 2 seconds, like almost every 15 seconds. So if there's some disconnect with how I'm responding to you, that's what it is.
I don't know if it's on my end or not, but
so I don't think anybody else is hearing it. I think it's on my end, and I'm gonna blame the Texas power grid for that. So before we start the pod hour here in a little bit, I'm gonna jump out and come back in. But we'll finish out this first hour here first. Yeah, I agree with all of that, or at least all of it, the 6 seconds or so that I missed of your Toronto takes. But I think we're pretty much on the same page there. Again, some of this is going to come down to the lineup that we should get here in a little bit, as producer Thomas reassures me. It is on my end. The Pistons will start. Here's one for you, Adam. Corey Joseph, Rodney McGruder, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, and Beef Stew. So Rodney McGruder getting out there.
That's great for Joseph.
I agree. And I honestly don't think that Magruder is out of play here. We've seen him get into the 20s in minutes. I should start by saying not a priority. This is more of maybe a 20 max play, but this is a guy, if I was running 150, I would for sure have a few shares of. Rodney McGruder can go out there and put up double-digit shots if he's going to get into the mid-20s in minutes, and if he's hitting from the field. That 3K price tag, small forward only, but somebody that you should have in a 150 max pool. If I'm a single entry player, not messing with Rodney McGruder. But this does solidify Corey Joseph. I think, Adam, both of us agree on that. At his 4-3 price tag is a very strong play at the guard position.
Yeah, plus Diallo not starting, higher usage rate player than McGruder. So overall, good news for Corey Joseph and Jeremy Grant.
I agree. So let's touch on that Chicago team. Only 15 minutes left, so we'll pick up the pace here a little bit. We mentioned who is inactive for Chicago. So you've got DeMar DeRozan, Nick Vucevic, and Zach LaVine all bunched together salary-wise at the top. Do you have a guy that stands out from those three? And then can you mess with any of the other players from this Bulls rotation?
Find the exact number, but I'm pretty sure the last time I looked, Toronto had been struggling to protect the rim, which isn't too surprising given that they haven't been playing with a true center for a lot of the season, which bodes well for DeMar DeRozan, who's always been top 10 in drives per game. I don't think this is a revenge game either. Like, I understand it's his former team, but like, he loves Toronto. But having said that, I mean, like, Vucevic, I like the matchup, but at 9-1, we talked about Towns. We're going to talk about Davis. Bam, like this team would have obviously been more appealing if LaVine were out. So for me, it's DeRozan. That's really it. Like I guess LaVine obviously has upside on this slate, and shooting guard on this slate outside of Booker isn't incredible. But Toronto plays slow, good defensive team. Just not a whole lot that really stands out to me.
Yeah, I'm pretty much right there with you. If I had to choose one of those guys at the top, I would go with DeMar. And Vucevic on DraftKings at least would be my third option out of those guys. Again, center only. I have other centers that I want to prioritize, not just at the position, but in that price range, looking at Towns and Anthony Davis, who we'll get to here in a minute. But before we get to that, battle of the crypto.com center, I think is what it's called now.
Yeah.
We'll touch on the Kings and the Warriors here. The Kings, no Terrence Davis, of course. No Marvin Bagley, still waiting on De'Aaron Fox, questionable again with that ankle injury on the Warriors side. Still no Draymond, no Otto Porter Jr., no Nemanja Bjelica, and of course, no James Wiseman. So we'll start with the visitors here again. I guess tell me, do you lean Fox in, Fox out, and what are you doing in that scenario, or the scenario that you think is going to play out?
I don't know. I've seen people say that they're holding Fox out to trade him. I don't know. We talked about his contract on the pod.
Mm-hmm.
If he sits, Davion Mitchell will go overlooked as a mid-range value play because of the Spurs, but he's been 35, 34, 33 minutes, 17, 14, 17, 19 field goal attempts. Usage rate right around 24% during that span. I think you can go right back to him. Halliburton has been, fine, a little bit up and down, but we've seen the upside when, and especially in touches per game. Like he's around 100 touches per game whenever Fox is out of the lineup. And then I don't hate Mo Harkless as a value play at 3,100. Has been starting with Davis and Bagley out. Played 34 minutes last game, 24 fantasy points. You could do a lot worse than Mo Harkless, assuming he starts again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really it from the Kings. Did you announce the Spurs starting five?
Not yet. It is Trey Jones, Derek White, Devin Vassell, Keldan Johnson, and Thad Young. I believe that's the 5 expected starters that we got rumors of earlier. But yeah, with this Kings team, I do think De'Aaron Fox sits again tonight. I have half the mind that they're sitting him because they're trying to trade him and they don't want him to get hurt before the deadline.
Because they're not trading Halliburton.
You can't. I mean, it's the Kings. They could. But, if you or I are running a franchise, we're not getting rid of Tyrese Halliburton, not even entertaining trade talks for him. So if Fox does end up out, I have a lot of interest in getting to Halliburton in tournaments. But it is tough to get there with any volume, with so many of the really attractive plays on this slate in that price range locking before this game starts, and probably before we get that news, a 2.5 hour break between those 7:30 games and these 10 p.m. games. I would also have some interest in Davion Mitchell there at 4.8. Obviously, the price is up, but he's getting the minutes, and he's finally found some consistency with his shot here. So he looks like an attractive piece of value if Fox ends up out. You can Rashawn Holmes at 5K. Not my priority tonight, but he's an acceptable play there at center. You can also Chimezie Metu if you want to. Power forward only 3.9. Somewhat of an interesting pivot off of some of the chalk there down at the lower range of power forward. Golden State side, I mentioned the inactives. Steph Curry 10-4 on DraftKings. I think he's fine to play in a GPP as a spend up. Let me pull up what Kyle's got for ownership here on the Dubs. He's got Steph Curry 22% projected ownership. I would certainly match that if I was running my 20 lineups. And if I got more, I would be absolutely fine with it. Obviously, the matchup against the Kings is supreme here, but the Warriors definitely a blowout risk here, Adam. 13.5 point home favorites. Wiggins 6'7", Poole 6'3", Clay 6K flat. I think I slightly prefer Clay of those three. Wiggins right behind him, and I really have little to no interest in getting Jordan Poole in 20 lineups, maybe even in 150. Maybe I'd have one or two, but with all those guys back, I'll jump off the 6'3" Jordan Poole train. And then I think there's a conversation to be had about some potential value down the roster. So how are you looking at the Dubs?
I'm telling you, it's here. It's almost here. It might be in this game. The Clay game is coming. The 20-point quarter from Clay. Of course, the Kings are the team he went for 37 against in the quarter, I believe. So it would be fitting.
Good point.
It is worrisome because I don't think he plays more than 30 if he gets to 30. And obviously, projecting blowouts is tough, but this is the one game that clearly, I mean, the Kings are awful. They might be without Fox, already without other two players of the rotation. Golden State at home, Curry, Clay, all rested after having a game off. But, I mean, with how bad Sacramento is, especially against shooting guards the last 5 years, Clay could go off, I think. And again, if you're playing tournaments, you want to be, on the Clay game the day it happens and not after. So just having said that, I have interest in Clay until it happens. And obviously Curry, with enough value we're going to have from the Spurs and other spots on a slate where you don't have to compare him to Jokic or Giannis or Luka. Curry could easily have the most fantasy points on the slate, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. Actually, he might even project the most fantasy points in the slate, given the fact that there aren't, Jokic and Giannis and Luka on the slate.
Yeah, I do not disagree there. Pacers made it official after 4 10-day deals. Signed Lance Stevenson for the rest of the season, so good for
especially
Lance.
Since half their team's going to be traded in about 5 days.
Right? Or at least I think Pacers fans hope so. Battle of Los Angeles here to close out the slate. Then we'll get into questions and then into the pod hour. LeBron James doubtful here. I think all of us expect him to sit once again. I don't think, Adam, I would be surprised if we saw
All-Star
him
break, yeah.
maybe one game before the All-Star break to kind of, so he's not sitting out the real games and then just playing in the meaningless one.
Right.
But I have a ton of interest in getting to a sub 10K Anthony Davis, even center only. We've seen 37 and 38 minutes over the last two games, 34 in the game before that in the blowout loss at Philly, but almost 60 DK points there. He is one of my favorite plays on the slate. And then as I alluded to earlier, I think I'm interested in Russell Westbrook tonight. I did poo-poo him last night and another terrible shooting performance. I shouldn't say another. He had shot 50+% from the field in 5 straight games coming into last night and could not quite get that triple-double bonus on DraftKings. But on this slate at 9-6 in a good matchup against this Clippers team that is still without their 2 best players, 3.5-point dogs are the Lakers in their own house here. I think the Clippers are technically the home team. But talk to me about those guys. You have love for Anthony Davis, and are you with me on risking the Russell Westbrook roster tonight?
Yes, assuming we don't get some crazy late news that Davis is going to rest in the second of the back-to-back. I think you can make the case Davis is the best play of the slate. Just under 10K, no LeBron against a Los Angeles Clippers team that really doesn't have any size you worry about. I know Zubac is questionable, but Ibaka's going to play minutes here. I love Anthony Davis here. I think Westbrook, the assist rate's been massive without LeBron, so if he consistently starts to shoot the ball better and starts, finishing at the rim and stuff like that, he still has that triple-double upside. They're both pretty much the same price, but Westbrook obviously has a better chance of hitting that triple-double bonus. So other than that, though, I don't really have interest in really this game. The Clippers, their rotation is tough. They're playing so many different players. The ceiling for a lot of these players is 30 minutes. And I just don't think that's going to get there on this slate. And it's not like anybody's an insane value.
It's really tough to get to anybody outside of the top 3 guys here for me. I guess you could make the case that you want to try to maybe catch a Carmelo Anthony game over 40 DK points in 2 of his last 3. But at 5K, doesn't jump out to me, especially with all that Spurs value and some of the other pieces we've talked about in that price range. Clippers side of things, Adam, again, of course, no Kawhi, no PG. We're waiting on Zubac news. He sat out the last game with the calf injury, still questionable for this one tonight. If he's out again, I think you expect Serge Ibaka to continue to start here, but Isaiah Hartenstein would look a little bit better as well at his 3-2 price tag. Both of those guys center only. And then you've got just the traffic jam of options here, starting with Marcus Morris, Amir Coffey, Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard. I'll skip Eric Bledsoe for now. I think that's the guy I can safely X out. I don't want shares of him tonight. Nick Batum, Terrence Mann, all those guys acceptable. I think my favorite pieces there are a 5-4 Reggie Jackson, a 4-7 Luke Kennard. And then I guess we have to talk about Terrence Mann, but I've really soured on him from a fantasy perspective over the last month.
They're just all playing.
Yeah.
I have no interest in the Clippers. Maybe Ibaka if Zubac does get ruled out, but that's really it. Like you said, Kennard, Marcus Morris, Batum, Mann, Coffey, they're all just playing minutes. And that's why the weird thing is Coffey might be my favorite, but he's priced up to 5-6. So I'd rather play Keldan Johnson or some of the other players in that price range. So no Clippers for me. Just not a lot of interest.
Yeah, I think a lot of these Clippers guys would just be last pieces in for me. And certainly if I'm playing the late slate, I would have some interest in getting to those guys at their modest price tags in a game that is supposed to stay relatively close with a 220 implied total. 3 minutes here until lock. Let's jump into the chat and try to clear this queue of questions here. Brock asking Barnes, Poole, or Bridges for you, Adam?
I am going to go kind of by default. Poole has everybody back for Golden State. Bridges' price is up, so give me Barnes, who will still – Bridges will play the same amount of minutes or close to, but I'll go Barnes. Yeah,
I would go Barnes, Bridges, and Poole. 2v2 for charge up here. Isaiah Hartenstein and Russell Westbrook, or Rodney McGruder and Anthony Davis?
I want the Davis side.
Yeah.
But it's close, especially if obviously Zubac is ruled out again.
Yeah, I would lean that second side now. But if you think Zubac sits again, I'll go ahead and take my chances on the first one. Triple H asking, Bogdan Bogdanovic, 5,800. Is he okay in tournaments? I would say okay is about the nicest I could be about that play today. So in one lineup or three lineups, I think Triple H, you run like 3 to 5 lineups per night. Maybe I'm wrong there, but not somebody I would prioritize. Romulus asking Siakam and Trey Jones or Ant Edwards and Lonnie Walker. He could also put Terrence Mann in for Lonnie Walker on DK.
So I actually prefer Walker over Mann.
Same.
And I'm on Edwards tonight, so I'm gonna lean Anthony Edwards, although Siakam might be safer. I think Edwards has a better chance of like breaking the slate.
Sure. I think I'll take the first side if Siakam's at the center and the second side if he's at the 4. Anthony will talk All-Star Wiggins here in a little bit. DFS Dan asking Booker, Harry Barnes, or Bam Adebayo and Trent Jr.
Booker side. That's tough though. I love the spot for Bam. I just worry about how much he'll have to do.
Yeah, I think I lean to the second side there because Bam certainly does have the upside at that mid 8K price tag against the Spurs without Jakob Poeltl.
It's not like Bam's priced out of out of this world. It's just it's finally appropriate. Like he was like mid to low 7K with Lowry out, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep playing Bam. But now, especially with some other centers here, you have to think about it because Bam, when he's priced appropriately, is usually in the Vucevic range, kind of like in that range, DeAndre Ayton. But back then, when he was like 7'3", he was priced like with centers that he's just better than.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. All right, everybody, 30 seconds here until we hit lock for these first 2 games. So any last second questions, go ahead and fire them there into the chat. And then we will go ahead and get started on this hour of podcast. We'll flip on the TNT pregame show so we can hopefully celebrate our guys getting into the All-Star game, Adam. But I don't know if I have a lot of confidence that both of us will end up happy after the next half hour.
I think there's a chance that you won't be, but we've talked about it. I think Murray deserves to get in. Yeah, but it's just tough because I do think one of the injured stars, not now, but Davis or Paul George, I think one of them gets in, and that's going to hurt because there's already 4 locks at the guards position, right? It's Mitchell, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and Luka. Like they are getting in. So then it's just like, okay, how many spots are left for Murray?
Yeah, we will see momentarily. The Bulls will start Ayo Dosunmu, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Javonte Green, and Nick Vucevic. And I've got word from our producer here that Joe Metz is ready to come on. So what I'm going to do, Adam, is jump out real quick. I'll be back momentarily, and then we can go ahead and get this thing started.
Cool. All right. Got a good game, too, to watch. Suns and Hawks.
Adam!
What's up, buddy?
Nice jersey.
Thanks, man. What's up, everybody, though? This is now switching it to the live edition of the FTN NBA Podcast. Zach went to go reset his internet. I don't know if you watched the stream, Joe, but Zach was like, it was like when you're watching the news and the reporter's like delayed. Zach just heard me so late. He's going to restart his internet. But you excited to see who made the All-Star team?
I am. I'm hoping, we have a lot of guys that we like that I don't want to say are fringe. They shouldn't be fringe guys, but I don't know if they're going to, DeJounte Murray, you guys talked about. Both
You're
those
a fringe
Cavs
guy.
Guys. Oh, wow. Thanks. I came on ready to show some love because I played 4 damn Spurs in my single entry today. God damn it. But yeah, I'm excited to see. I feel like especially the guard crop in both conferences this season is incredibly deep. Like there are going to be, people argue there's snubs every year, but you can argue each of these rosters should be 17 deep.
I mean,
given
listen,
how people are
like one of Garland, LaMelo, Van Vliet, Drew Holiday, like one of those players is not going to be an all-star. Which
I have of those guys you mentioned, I think LaMelo is the most likely to be an all-star. I think
just based off like the appeal of the game and everything.
Yes,
not that he's had a bad year. Like they've all had very comparable seasons.
But yes, the appeal of the all-star game literally has LaMelo Ball written all over it.
Right.
I think that of those guys, I think with the last 3 weeks, how things have gone, unfortunately, I think Drew is the odd one out.
All right. There's Devin Booker. No surprise.
Oh, I got to pull up.
I see, look, Boomer Adam on cable in front of me. No spoilers.
All right. Sorry. I forgot. I have a narrative, too, for Friday's slate.
Uh-oh.
The Cavs play Charlotte. So, like, if Garland gets in and LaMelo doesn't, there you go.
Or vice versa. Ooh,
well, Garland might not play. He's still got the back.
Oh, that's good. That's true. Because so All-Star game or that weekend is what, the 20th? Is that the All-Star game? Sunday the 20th? So how remind me, replacements are usually dubbed the week before, roughly, right?
I think so. Not something I've committed to memory, admittedly. Like when the replacement.
I see you're talking. I just turned on. I see you're talking to Draymond right now.
Yeah.
How awkward that be if he doesn't make the team? Like, should have been a starter, but you know.
Yeah, he
anybody
definitely
should have been a starter over fucking Wiggins.
There's Luka, the two that we knew, and Luka.
So next will be Chris Paul, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I would imagine. So Luka just recorded, I believe, last game is 41st career triple double. The exact number might be off.
And he had 40, right?
Yeah, he is. Oh my God, I can't say it. I'm not going to say he is Westbrook, but I think there are two ways his career can go. I think one, he gets help, develops defensively a little more, and actually turns a team into a contender.
He's getting help in about 7 days. Dallas is trading for somebody.
Is it going to be enough help? That's the question. It is
probably not.
God damn it, there's Rudy Gobert. I'm logging off. I'll see you guys later.
Did you not expect him to get in?
No, I expected it. I just think Rudy Gobert is the most boring.
Oh, I forgot about Cat, too. So, like,
but yes, no, Dello was saying in the chat, like, no shot. He's legit alone. That's kind of how I feel, too. Like Luka needs a lot of help, and I don't think he's going to get
Did you see what David put in chat?
And I just see everyone saying, did you just compare Luka to Westbrook? If I didn't get interrupted, I'd be able to explain it. I think he goes one of two ways. He either helps turn a team into a contender, or if Dallas just keeps trending the way he does, he stays there. He's just going to be Russell Westbrook. He's going to keep racking up triple doubles. He's going to pad his stats, and he's not going to win shit. I think Luka has a higher likelihood to turn a team into a contender than become the next Russell Westbrook. But what's he doing right now?
Dallas has played good the last month.
Yeah,
I don't know. Keeping them in the top 6, right?
Yeah, dude, Dallas has been good the last month.
No, that's fair.
And he's also not playing well?
Well, the thing that's kept them in the top 6, aside from Luka, is their defense right now, which he arguably has little to do with. But obviously...
Oh, breaking news. Superstar talent doesn't play defense very often or at a high level.
Hey, I'm not used to having a superstar that doesn't play defense.
It's a fair
That's
point.
just one of us three. I have a reigning defensive player of the year. Draymond just got announced, Adam, so you can...
Joe was just called a psychopath in chat, so that's great.
I don't think they're off base with that. Like first Joe last week is defending Grayson Allen.
Oh, here we go.
Now he's saying that like the best prospect since LeBron is going to turn out to be Russell Westbrook.
No, I did not say he's going to turn out to be Russell Westbrook. I think there's Donovan Mitchell. I think he goes one of two ways. I think one very realistic way we could see, and I'm not saying he is Russell Westbrook, but he's going to be a superstar that pads stats that doesn't have help and that doesn't like. He alone, I don't think, is enough to take a team to a championship. But we've seen that. He's not LeBron. LeBron took a 36-year-old Zydrunas Ilgauskas and Boobie Gibson to an NBA Finals.
It took him, what, 5 or 6 years to do that? Let's give.
He didn't make the playoffs his first, 2 years?
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
So
I guess maybe I should put the brakes a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, Luka is the cornerstone of my dynasty team that,
All right,
we could have a conversation.
Let's recap here. We have the Western Conference reserves: Devin Booker, Luka Doncic, Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, Donovan Mitchell, and just announced, unsurprisingly, is Chris Paul. So what does that give us? One spot left? There.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
be
quiet.
It's gotta be Cat. It's gotta be Cat, right?
That's what I'm thinking. So we'll see.
If it's not Karl Anthony Towns and they do like Paul George or Anthony Davis,
that's what I'm worried about. I was talking to Zach.
I said last week. This is the first of all. Let me. I've been waiting to do this. Okay. If Andrew Wiggins had an ounce of fucking integrity, he would turn down that spot. He would turn it down.
God, this guy's dream just came true, Zach. Give him a damn break.
I don't give a fuck.
Oh, no.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is what, like, the fan vote, let the fans.
There's Cat, but God damn it, DeJounte Murray got snubbed. I'm taking to Twitter right now.
Look. Let the fans vote. But it doesn't count for anything. Just release the numbers. That's the popularity contest part of this. And the reason why people like, should I be getting this upset about a game that doesn't matter? No. But in general, there are players that have clauses in their contracts where they make more money if they make the All-Star game. So the fact that Andrew Wiggins is potentially stealing that money, not just from DeJounte Murray, but any of the other guys that were on the All-Star team bubble, is the point of this.
Exactly, like, oh my, and that a lot of that comes back to just because the NBA needs to see this and realize basketball is a fucking positionless game. Like, you don't need a small forward. Like, get Andrew Wiggins out of there. You pass up, like, yes, he's been injured, but Anthony Davis should have been in over Andrew Wiggins. DeJounte Murray, the number one player that should be in over Andrew Wiggins. You can argue Anthony Edwards should have been in over Andrew Wiggins. Like, I understand the Warriors are one of the best teams in the NBA. Andrew Wiggins has had a good season. He has not had an All-Star season.
Give me Desmond Bain over Andrew Wiggins in the All-Star game.
Desmond Bain, a player that on 2-2-22,
wild.
Tough shot, 22% from the field and had 22 points. Just nuts. People are going to lose their fucking minds on February 22nd. Just wait.
But dude, like, Andrew Wiggins, like, I feel like he would gain a lot of respect around the league. Not that he doesn't have it already as a player, but like by turning that spot down, because you know it's a fucking joke. It's a joke. Nobody in their right mind had him. The only reason people voted for him, he got 4 media votes. The only reason people voted for him is because of the positional constraints that the NBA puts on the ballot. There's absolutely no way. Like, I know we did this last week, but when we did, us three and Alex Blickel did our All-Star ballots, but 2-3 weeks ago, we didn't consider Andrew Wiggins.
No, the thing is, like, Andrew Wiggins wouldn't have been
mentions.
And Andrew Wiggins
did our honorable mentions, and none of us talked about him.
We gave how many? I think we each gave 2 honorable mentions. I don't know if Wiggins would have been in my next 5 after that.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm not taking away from what he's done this season, because obviously he's played a big part, especially before Clay came back and with Draymond out. And he's going to continue, unless he gets traded, continue to play a huge role in this team's title run this year.
You could argue Jordan Poole over Andrew Wiggins.
How about Triple J?
What? Okay. Yesterday,
here's how DeJounte gets in. Draymond says he's out.
Yeah, did he say he's out? I have it muted.
He said it.
Okay.
He said it. So my concern here, I told Tyreek in the chat, if Draymond's out, if the NBA
they're gonna give it to Davis.
No, I think they're gonna give it to Anthony Davis for positional reasons. It's what the NBA does. I think Anthony Davis is the most likely candidate. I almost said Andrew Davis because Zach has just been drilling Wiggins into my head right now. But I just we obviously had the Grizzlies on primetime on ESPN yesterday on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. They have not had as well as they've been playing, as hyped up as Ja Morant has been. They have not had a lot of nationally televised games. 1, they need more. 2, Ja Morant obviously needs to be on primetime more, but so does Jaren Jackson Jr. People will look at the box score and see Julius Randle had a near triple-double and be like, oh, he played well. Julius Randle got absolutely embarrassed by Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, could not keep up with him on the offensive end, was like struggling to defend him on the perimeter. He was getting clowned at the rim by Jaren Jackson. And frankly, this is more just an indictment of Julius Randle than it is praise of Jaren Jackson. So take Jaren Jackson Jr. out of this. Julius Randle did not look like he gave a shit to play for the Knicks yesterday. Like, at all. Like, he looks so done. And I understand the team has not played well. But that has stemmed from him.
Well, when your best player is completely taking a step back. That's a huge reason why.
Right. Like Julius Randle, in my opinion, I think he's been the most disappointing player in the NBA for me this year, relative to expectations. I don't think someone like, immediately my brain said, "Oh, Russell Westbrook," but I knew what the Lakers were getting with Russell Westbrook. We all knew this.
Mm-hmm.
I think Julius Randle, like, he got exposed by Atlanta, but he has not recovered from that series whatsoever. He has, like, by far been the most disappointing player in the NBA to me. Like, his last 10 games, he's averaging like 16 points on like 30% shooting, 4 turnovers a game. It's horrible.
I think it's not so much, and we talked about it, I think, last week. It's not so much that he hasn't recovered, it's that the league caught up.
Yeah.
The league saw the series too. And they saw what
the league saw the series.
knew.
And could you argue it's, I guess, to a more extreme extent, it's how the international teams adapted to guarding Dame. Sure. It's the same kind of thing with Julius Randle. Zach, you said it. He literally cannot go right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you are limited with Julius Randle to a quarter of the court. You're not going to do anything.
I mean, we looked at his shot charts last week, right?
But
let's talk some other snubs here. Although I will say, for those that are still watching and were tuned into the previous hour, the Raptors will start the same 5: Van Vliet, Trent Jr., Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, and Pascal Siakam. So Siakam at the 5, just to reiterate, that's my favorite Raptor there, with Gary Trent Jr. as the close second and a 2B for Fred Van Vliet.
Gary Trent Jr. should get snubbed at this rate.
Yeah, we were talking about him on stream.
30 plus and 5+ threes and 5 straight. Go ahead, Zach.
I was just say, back to the snubs, like, who else got snubbed? Like, I think you could talk Anthony Davis. I know he's missed a ton of games. Brandon Ingram also missed a ton of games. And I feel like at this point, I would rather see Mikal Bridges in the All-Star game, because his team has a better record and he does very similar things, albeit less of a scoring load for McCall than Andrew Wiggins. But he's been more successful this season, I think, from a team aspect.
Yeah, similar to Draymond. So I think when I compare these two, Suns much different makeup of the roster than the Warriors. Like, the Suns have 3 guys that can just carry them. So you take Mikal Bridges out and you still have Ayton, Booker, and Paul, you're going to be okay. Mm-hmm. But the team impact that Mikal Bridges makes, like, rivals that of someone like a Draymond. Like, he is like a heart and soul of this Phoenix Suns team. I mean, Chris Paul, the obvious heart and soul of the team, but like, you're going to be hard pressed to find many better two-way players in the league than Mikal Bridges.
Mikal Bridges is going to be in the NBA for 15 years.
Yep.
And he's going to be good for 15 years.
Yeah, and and we talked about it. Like, if he were on a team where he had a larger, more consistent role, he could score 20. He could average 20. He's a great player, but that's why the Suns are so good. Yeah. Everybody knows their role. Everybody's great in their role, and they're led by one of the, 25, 30 greatest players ever. Like, it's – and Zach and I talked about it. Like, the Suns are 41-9. They're on pace for 67 wins, and everybody's just kind of like, oh, yeah. Like, why are we not talking about that?
When you say that, like, the fact that they're on pace to lose only 15 games.
I thought you were going to say they're on pace to lose in the finals again to Milwaukee.
That would have been good. That would have been really good. But no, I actually have some rationale and reason coming into this podcast.
Dude, the Suns are so good.
I'm also not going to tout the Bucks right now because they look like dog shit. So I'm going to take a step down.
All right, we lost to Houston like 3 days after we talked about how bad Jalen Green's been. He has like the best game of his career, so that's fun.
I am excited to see Jalen Green in the dunk contest. I think he is going to do very, very well because he can just jump out of the gym.
So
I'm ready.
What are we expecting for 3-point shootout though? Curry. Dame usually does it, but he probably isn't doing it. Obviously,
Gary Trent,
Jock Landale.
I think
the piss out of it.
I think Garland wants to do it.
Well,
Kevin Love. Get Kevin Love in there.
Yeah, 6th man of the year, Kevin Love.
Yeah, Grayson Allen probably.
I know we were just talking about how Tyler Hero had that shit sewn up. I think it's a legit conversation.
It is, and I said this. Jimmy Butler got in. Sorry, I couldn't. Jimmy Butler got in.
God.
Adam.
It was an accident, but wow.
I mean, we all had him on our ballots, but
it's still a little surprising.
Oh wow! Can we talk about what Tyreek just put in Discord?
Yeah, little Halloween picture.
Oh wow!
Blush, Tyreek.
That is a really impressive homemade jersey.
I appreciate
on the
that.
wife beater. That is
The
really,
wife beater,
really
like,
impressive. That's pretty close to what you get on like AliExpress.
Dude, I fucking made that jersey. I don't know how many beers deep, but Jackie Moon style for sure.
You look at least 6 beers deep in that picture.
Hey, you remember those? You remember those 10 rebounds against Cincinnati? Don't remember a single one of them.
Adam,
Let's
I
go.
see your reaction. Adam,
Let's go.
it's got to be Darius, right?
First guy in. It's got to be.
Things you love to see.
Yep.
Is it Darius? Am I that behind?
One thing that
Just put it on the board, Kenny. I have it muted right now. Yeah, it is. Wow. Let's go.
Let's go.
one thing that
Drew,
really
not gonna
stands
be
out
All-Star.
about Darius Garland is how much respect he seems to garner from the other elite players in
Yes.
the league.
Did
Yes,
you
I
see
was
what
literally
Curry
just-
said about him?
No.
Curry said like along the lines of like, yeah, he's next. Like he's the next
I mean,
like
did-
elite
wait,
point guard in the NBA.
Again, I have the stream muted right now, but what I assume, when Kenny opened the envelope and read it, Draymond Green like got super pumped. Like it's little
did?
things like that. Like the league loves this player.
By the way, that means Jared Allen's definitely not getting in. I don't think Cleveland's getting 2. Which
Yeah,
and Zach,
and
I talked to
think
you.
that means Drew. I think Drew Holiday.
I think I talked to you about this,
this,
Zach, where I said like remember like 2 weeks ago I was like Jared Allen's getting in, and now the last couple weeks, and then yesterday I think today I was like, yeah, it's gonna be Garland over Allen now.
I feel like you told me a couple days ago, like in the Slack chat or something.
Yeah.
You were like, "Yeah, I don't think Jared Allen gets in."
And Allen hasn't been great the last like weeks. And then, like I said, Garland just when he's been active since that first All-Star pod we did, he's been legitimately one of the best players in the NBA. Like no bullshit.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
James Harden there's James Harden, which we all. So I think all 3 of us had Jimmy Butler and James Harden.
so I didn't, and I even said this. I didn't have Garland. I had Allen. I don't think any of us had Garland.
I had Drew Holiday.
Yeah. Damn, that means LaMelo's not getting in, Fred's not getting in, or Drew's not getting in.
Of those 3, I think Fred would be the odd one out, but
Fred's never
the
been an
Raptors
All-Star,
have
right?
to have no.
I think Fred should
Siakam
get
has.
in.
Siakam has.
Yeah,
I
Siakam
believe.
was 2 years ago, I think.
So Levine's in. I'm
Fred
going to
should
close
get
the
in.
Discord in a sec, but so
I might have to get the Garland All-Star jersey. Those jerseys are whack.
Adam,
They're
pump
bad
the brakes,
jerseys.
man. Your bank account needs a bit of a breather right now.
They're
Your
bad.
pockets are burning right
They're
now.
bad jerseys. I don't like the jerseys that much anyway.
They are. They look like practice pennies. They look like what that Flint Tropics thing.
I'm a little like
that's
if this was like a week ago, I'd be pretty surprised Garland got in. Now I'm like a little surprised, but just more pumped. You think you got to think Adam Silver wanted one player from Cleveland getting in.
Yeah, especially because he gave
What the shit?
Shut up, Adam. Oh, you're saying what the shit to Aaron Wiggins being listed out tomorrow. I get it.
No, I'm not.
Let's go. No way. Let's go. That is such a oh my god. I love it. I love it. But what?
Why am I the one that's the most behind now?
You'll see in a second.
Oh, I'm watching Discord.
It's kind of bullshit.
Dumb.
Great player. Great player.
Has had a down.
Should not be an All-Star this year.
So that means Miles Bridges for sure. My boy not getting in.
What if he gets in and then you're just lifting above everyone? You're just levitating if Miles Bridges get in.
The fact that Miles Bridges is in the dunk contest, he needs some type of. All right, Tyreek, stop saying stuff in the damn Discord.
Just close the Discord.
But I like to talk to my people. So that means then there's gonna be one spot for either. Or did you guys see what it is or no? Or should I not say something?
I haven't seen it.
I've been watching. I'm just not saying anything.
He just got announced. It's Jason Tatum.
So there's one spot
which
left.
you knew.
So there's one spot left between Fred, LaMelo, Drew,
Miles Bridges.
If Bam's in consideration, which I don't think he should be.
The thing is, the East has no bigs.
Vucevic, Jared Allen.
It doesn't really matter though because we're picking teams anyways.
What if Jared Allen?
Which, by the way, this is like one of the only places where LeBron is an elite.
Yeah, all right. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this one.
It's got to be LaMelo.
I'm happy with this one, baby. That's good stuff.
It's gonna be Fred. It's gonna be Fred knowing Adam's reaction. That's my guess. But man,
thumbs down.
LaMelo
Why?
Needs to be LaMelo.
I don't know, man.
Man, yeah, I cannot believe LaMelo didn't make the All-Star game. That's bullshit.
Yo, LaMelo's gonna be pissed Friday against
So
Cleveland.
I was just about to bring this up, but for my own homer reasons, if we think that Devin Booker has been going on this scoring rampage after he got snubbed from the starters, DeJounte Murray resting tonight, second half of the back-to-back tomorrow night, I would expect him to be, he's already a great play pretty much any slate now in like over the last 2 months. But all right, if he turns it up at all,
Fred should stay in. Chris Middleton should be out, and you can put LaMelo in. But I'm telling you,
I love the way that the coaches didn't pick any bigs. Like, I like it.
Yeah, I'm just glad Garland got in because I didn't think Jared Allen would get in the last couple days. But yeah, so real quick, Eastern Conference reserves. It just took the screen away, but it's Butler, Garland, Tatum, Middleton, Van Vliet. What am I missing?
I like David Jones chiming in. All-Star snub is one of the best narratives in the game, up there with New Year's Day. Yeah, like David, I love it. Yeah. First thing he tweeted at me was lock in next Spurs game for DeJounte.
Bro, LaMelo plays Friday against Darius Garland.
Oh, well, I don't get like
he now ruled out, by the way.
He already got ruled out?
Yeah.
Damn, I thought they were gonna be kind of like keeping him.
So we get no LaMelo in the All-Star game. No Miles Bridges in the dunk contest. If Eric Collins is not in Cleveland to represent Charlotte in some capacity, this season is a waste. I think I love that $2 made it, but LaMelo deserved it.
No shit, Joe.
So how did $2 make it when they've had a down year to their standards? But like,
also, what's the threshold now for missed games? Because Chris Middleton has missed 12.
And Butler's missed how many?
Butler's missed more, right?
Exactly, and they both got in.
I'm not comparing him to anybody else. I'm just saying, what's the threshold?
All right, like this is not the first time I've seen like shows say Tyler Hero should like Tyler Hero is not even close to an All-Star. What are we talking about? Because Chuck, Kenny, and Ernie had Hero as All-Star reserves. Like, what are we? No, like, no.
Who'd they have? Sorry, I missed what you said.
So Shaq had Sabonis as an All-Star reserve. Like, absolutely not. And then the rest of the crew had Tyler Hero. Is like, what? No.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for Jared Allen, but I can't say like he absolutely got snubbed. Garland getting in is amazing.
I just can't believe LaMelo's not in the All-Star game.
I can. I knew it was going to be tough for him. I didn't think it was going to be because Middleton got in, though.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I expected Van Vliet to get in. I don't know if I know I didn't have Middleton. Joe, did you have Middleton when we did the pod?
I drew.
Yeah, you had Drew. That's right. So I don't think any of us had Middleton then. Middleton was the most.
He's having his worst season in his last 3.
Worst season in his last 3 on a team that's been underwhelming.
I'm obviously thrilled Middleton got in. I'm a huge Bucks fan. I love Chris Middleton, but he has had a down season. I don't think he deserves to be in the All-Star game. Those two things mutually exclusive. I'm going through. So obviously now Twitter's going to blow up. Who are the biggest snubs? So the handle, the Hoop Central. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. They just shout out, which players are the biggest snubs. So I just want to go through some responses that people think are the snubs. Pascal Siakam being one.
They don't deserve 2 players though.
No, I don't agree. LaMelo, what the fuck, Middleton.
So I'll agree.
Someone said Tyler Hero. No, LaMelo's being the one. Jared Allen, Jaylen Brown, Gary Trent.
LaMelo Ball is the snub.
Yes,
in the East.
Yeah. Yep.
And then it's Murray in the West. I think
someone said not LaMelo. I'll tell you that. Probably R.J. Barrett or Mitch Robb. I wonder what team they're a fan of.
And we've talked about it. There isn't. I don't think there's a more fun player to have in the All-Star game than LaMelo Ball.
There's not.
So, all right, Zach, let's go back to Draymond, because Draymond said he's probably not going to play. Mm-hmm. Who do you think gets in? I think it's either AD or it's DeJounte. And now that he's healthy, I think AD is going to get the edge.
Yeah, I think LeBron's going to get Anthony Davis in there.
All I know is LaMelo Ball just had a career high in points on Thursday too, or on Wednesday, 38 points. Now he's got Cleveland. I know Garland's not against him technically because he's not playing, but LaMelo is going to go off again.
T Panthers chiming in here asking who's going to replace Durant, which is a good question. So that's another replacement. Yeah, hopefully.
I forgot. So all right, here's what you do. You start Garland because it's in Cleveland. You put him in the starting lineup. I'm kidding, by the way. Maybe not. They'll probably start Harden or something. And then who do you get in? Do you put LaMelo in? Drew's not getting in because Middleton, if anybody should get out in from that team, it should have been Drew.
I feel like I can't speak in absolutes about this stuff anymore just because of how bad this has been.
I'll tell you right now, actually.
Hold on. Why are people on Twitter freaking out that Tyler Hero didn't make it?
That's what I said.
What? Like some of the rationale, he's the 6th man of the year favorite. Bro, Jordan Clarkson never made the All-Star team. Like, what? This isn't
like
he's
2000.
Off the fucking bench.
How many bench players get into the All-Star game?
None.
Right.
0. None. Like, this is not to discredit Tyler Hero. He's had a phenomenal season.
He better worry about holding on to 6th man of the year before he worries about an All-Star bid.
Dear Lord, there's at least 4 guys I would take. I would take Drew, LaMelo, Miles Bridges, Jaylen Brown,
Siakam.
all over Siakam. I would take all 5 of those guys over Tyler Hero.
Tyler Hero, like Wiggins has a way better All-Star candidacy than Tyler freaking Hero. Like what?
Mm-hmm.
No, Tyler Hero has no
LaMelo is in the Rising Stars game. It's a good point. Well, I think it's games now, right?
Yeah, it's the
4 teams, 3 get
Yeah.
3.
I want LaMelo to do the skills challenge.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome. That game would be fun though. You got LaMelo, you got Mobley, you got I don't know. There's so many good young players in the NBA, but yeah,
I do think a lot of Middleton's, and this again, not saying it's right, but I think a lot of Middleton's All-Star bid, again, this is all the coaches choosing, has to be his run in the playoffs last year.
But here's what we need to talk about.
He played phenomenal.
What matters for All-Star bid? Because honestly, like team success really shouldn't matter that much. There are certain occasions like Cleveland has come out of nowhere and Darius Garland's having a breakout year. That makes sense. You can put those pieces together. But like if a good team is atop the standings like they should be, who gives a shit what their record is?
Yeah.
You know, like and in Milwaukee's case, like Middleton, like Zach said, worst year in the last 3, and Milwaukee's been underwhelming compared to what we expected from them. So why do they get 2? Giannis is obviously a no-brainer. He'll make the All-Star game the rest of his career probably, but like I just think LaMelo and Middleton, great player, not fun to watch in the All-Star game.
Shut up.
You know I'm right though.
No, you are. So who do you think is the most boring player in the All-Star game this year? It's Rudy Gobert. Next question.
It's every year. It's Rudy Gobert. You can't even post up.
I know. So let's see. I'm just looking at the slate here. Karl Towns 4-3-1 with a pair of turnovers. Spurs hanging in there.
Right. They were up to start the game.
To Zach's disappointment.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very true.
More disappointed only 5 minutes from Thad in his first rotation.
I'm not
in there now.
Yeah. Come on. My lineup loads it all.
So we just haven't seen the 2 G Leaguers for the Spurs. No K-Cog, no Wieskamp yet.
But they called Josh Primo up last weekend, right?
Yeah, he didn't go back down after that last game
that's
where
what
they
I was
rested
gonna
guys. He's been up since then.
Okay. Cat sitting in my lobbies at almost 30% owned. I'm a little surprised by that.
Yeah. T Panther says, 99% of people on Twitter are dumbasses. That's why. That is
it's also true.
Right.
If you were tuned in November 2020, that is also very true. Anyways,
too many of those people voted for Andrew Wiggins. I can tell you that.
Oh yeah.
I just can't believe Middleton got in. I'm a little bit more surprised about Middleton than Andrew Wiggins, just because we saw the fan votes for Wiggins like all the weeks before. You know what I mean? Like Middleton, I feel like that just came out of nowhere.
Sure.
I was very surprised Middleton made it. Again, I'm happy, but surprised.
Yeah, I think my exact quote was "What the shit."
Oh man, so what's the game that's coming up here is Phoenix and Atlanta, correct? The TNT game?
Yep, and then it's the Lakers Clippers and after Clippers.
That. Great that it's awesome that Trey was able to be active for this one, because otherwise I think Phoenix really would have mopped the floor with this Atlanta team. And they may still, but definitely a better game to watch.
Sadiq Bey is having a monster first quarter.
feel like this happens once every 4 weeks with Sadiq Bey.
Yeah, but it's not even
goes like 4
scoring.
for 4 from 3. What is
It's
it?
6 points, 6 boards, and 4 assists.
In 10 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he's 2 of 7 from the field, so it could be better. He's not shooting well.
That's a triple double watch if we're in the first quarter.
Ants got 9 points in the first. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Love to see that.
So we have rising. So we just don't have 3-point contests is what we don't have yet.
Let's.
You know what
I don't remember how many.
Challenge.
I don't remember how many participants are in the 3-point. There's a decent amount.
6, I think.
I think
right?
it's 6, yeah.
I thought there used to be a lot more.
There used to be. There used to be 8, I think.
So
but there
6.
also used to be. Remember that event where it would be different
Anthony
cities.
Edwards.
That event where it would be a WNBA player, a legend, and like an NBA player from a specific city. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I missed that.
Back when they would have like, who was the team that won it every year? Was it the
Phoenix?
Yeah,
it probably was.
Yeah, down at Taurasi.
Yep, exactly. All right, so 6 players in the 3-point shootout. Let's build our realistic dream because Dame's not doing it.
No, he's not.
We imagine Steph will do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gary Trent is going to be in it. Especially with this last push, I really do.
I think Garland might do it.
Booker?
Because
he
the
won
game's
last
in
year.
Cleveland.
Wait, did Booker win last year?
I lose track. I really do.
No,
No, Curry won last year. I thought.
Oh yeah, that's right. Was Booker won one of the last 2 years?
Yeah,
I think.
Booker definitely won. I'm gonna call my shot. I think Garland's gonna do it with the game being in Cleveland. I think he'll do it.
I think Kevin Love's gonna do it. That's my guess.
That'd be awesome. I would, dude. By the way, I really hope he wins 6th man of the year.
I'm gonna pull up. While we're talking about that, I'm gonna pull up the odds about what they are right now for Kevin Love for 6th man of the year. Might be worth a sprinkle.
Yeah, Thomas asked if Clay's gonna do it, and I would lean towards no, but it's not like it's like
It's not out of the question.
Right.
6th man of the year right now. Tyler. Oh my God.
Still a huge
Tyler
favorite.
Hero's minus 1,100. That is ridiculous.
How did it get stronger after his last 2 weeks?
Right.
He hasn't been
It got
good.
stronger. Kelly Oubre at 17-1 is in.
And how much does this matter? Like, it's more so because Miami has been missing so many players for a lot of the year. But like Tyler Hero started way more games than Kevin Love. Kevin Love started like twice this year, I think.
Yeah, Kevin Love 40-1 right now to win 6th man of the year.
Yeah,
it's like it's the margins. Like you have minus 1,100 for Tyler Hero. Second leader is Kelly Oubre 17-1. Then you're all the way at 40-1 with Kevin Love, 55-1 with Jalen Brunson, who started a ton of games this year. Montrezl Harrell then at 65-1, Jordan Clarkson 71, Buddy Hield 80-1, Jordan Poole 100-1, simply because I think he started 20 games with Bobby Portis. But like Vegas clearly still views this as a complete runaway. Like Jordan Clarkson, I thought was a runaway last year in March when he was minus 400. Tyler Hero's minus 1,100 in February.
Here's the other question. I think it's pretty clear it's Hero and Kevin Love. Who's third? Yeah. Not that it matters. Whoever's third is not winning. Who would be third?
I legit think it would be Kelly Oubre. That's how bad.
Oubre's
this year.
Oubre's a good call.
I think.
Zach, let me ask you. Sorry, go ahead. Keep going, Joe. Actually,
defensive player of the year, Draymond Green no longer the favorite. It's Rudy Gobert, which is odd because Rudy Gobert has been out for just as long as Draymond has now. Giannis in third at 6.5-1. Rudy Gobert the favorite at plus 150. Draymond Green plus 160.
Where's Bridges at?
Bridges is at 25-1, right behind Joel Embiid at 22-1. MVP right now, Joel Embiid the favorite at plus 200. Jokic 3-1. Giannis plus 370. Rookie of the year, I believe Cade. It's not Evan Mobley minus 350. Scotty Barnes plus 550. Cade Cunningham plus 600. Cade is narrowing the gap. I don't think he's going to overtake Mobley, but Cade Cunningham is narrowing the gap. Most improved player still Ja minus 400 now. Coach of the year Monty Williams minus 140. I would not vote for that. I think Taylor Jenkins at plus.
He's got my vote.
Still the best value. Who?
Taylor Jenkins.
Yeah, I think that's the best one that you can do.
In chat, real quick, Joe. Mobley, where's he at for defensive player?
DPOY. Let me look.
He's got an outside shot.
Not according to. Oh yeah, 30-1. He's right behind Mikal Bridges. He is the 7th priority, I guess. Right ahead of Matisse Thybulle and Jared Allen at 45-1.
Yeah, Anthony.
I just realized the Nets. This is off topic. I just realized the Nets have lost 6 straight games.
Yeah,
that's big. Yeah.
That's terrifying for the Eastern Conference playoffs because if they get Durant back and they're like a 6 or 7 seed.
How about this? if you match up, if you're Brooklyn, if you match up somehow with the Raptors in the first round, Kyrie can't play any of the games. Right?
Yeah. And Toronto, we talked about this in the pod. I don't want to play Toronto with their switchability on defense and their length. I don't want to play them at all.
Oh my God. This just really, Tyreek just sent a note that really tilted me in Discord. Rudy Gobert has the same number of Defensive Player of the Year awards as Ben Wallace. Rudy Gobert is arguably one of the best rim protectors ever, but he doesn't do anything outside of that. I will die on this hill that he is the least versatile defensive player of the year.
What did Ben Wallace do different from that?
He beat the shit out of people in the Malice at the Palace.
Okay, but like,
no, I do think Ben Wallace had a bit more versatility. Obviously, he was a much better pick and roll defender, but the game was obviously different back then. Ben Wallace is also 6'8", 6'9", right?
He was 6'9". He was 6'9", like at max 6'9".
Someone said Wallace would be jacking threes nowadays.
By the way,
honestly,
Trae Young
Ben Wallace
just
would
handed
kind of
the ball to
have
Chris Paul
to
first
like,
2 possessions of the game.
Really?
Ben
Ben Wallace would kind of have to develop a jump shot in today's NBA, I think.
Ben Wallace is leveled up Bismack Biyombo in today's game.
So that take is some we gotta get Stefano off the couch and on here.
Yeah.
His take that Wilt Chamberlain would be nothing more than JaVale McGee in today's NBA.
I disagree with that, but certainly wouldn't put up the numbers he did.
No. I've seen takes on Twitter that say like Wilt Chamberlain's the best.
Did you see what Josh Smith said about LeBron?
I saw Ball Sack Sports.
Josh Smith apparently said that LeBron.
Wait, Josh Smith, like the old Atlanta Hawks?
Yeah, that was fake.
Oh, it was fake.
Yeah, that's from Ball Sack Sports.
I didn't notice that. Okay,
it's okay. Neither did Fox News.
That's why that's exactly why I saw the Fox News report. So that's
and was it like Gary Sheffield's kid?
Yeah,
wrote an article about it.
Okay, so never mind.
That's hilarious.
We were talking about the 3-point shootout. So let's start with Zach and then Joe, and then I'll close. Let's go realistic 6 candidates for this season to participate.
Let's say realistic and then dark horse.
I say realistic just in the sense of like Dame's not doing it, he's hurt, etc.
Okay. I think Steph Curry is the unanimous likely player to hot, spicy. I think none of these are going to be hot. You know, they're
doesn't he automatically get invited back? I mean, obviously the NBA
because he won. Yeah.
He I think he plays again regardless because he won it last year. I think the returning champ has always, at least in recent memory, come back.
I honestly think we could see Fred VanVleet in it. That's another player that I thought about. And him and Patty Mills.
He's going to be in Cleveland now, so
yeah. Patty Mills, I think, is one that we could see.
I don't think just my impression of Patty. I don't think he wants any part of that weekend. He's gonna go to the beach and fucking chill and relax.
What about? Do you think we could see anyone from Charlotte in the 3-point contest?
Rozier.
That's
I would say
came to mind.
Rozier or Oubre. It's really it. Oubre I know leads them in 3-point.
You know, I could see Desmond Bane being in the 3-point contest. That's another one I could see.
What about a Sacramento player named Buddy Hield? I think he's been in it before, actually, too.
He has. He's third in the league in 3-pointers made per game.
Donovan Mitchell, Gary Trent, Duncan Robinson, Trey, who's playing right now.
I'd rather have Max Strus in there than Duncan Robinson this year.
I believe Duncan Robinson's having a great start to the game tonight, so shut your mouth.
PJ Tucker, if you want to talk about heat, PJ Tucker leading the NBA in 3-point percentage at 46.8%. Taking 3 a game.
Shooting 3 a game?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad, obviously. But
I wouldn't mind seeing Desmond Bane. I've grown so fond of watching Desmond Bane.
I just said Desmond. Yeah,
Did you?
He's been one of my favorite players this year. Yeah,
I was reading something. Dude, Desmond Bane, watching him off the handoffs with Steven Adams, so good.
Yeah.
He's so smooth. I really like Desmond Bane.
Max Strus, I wouldn't hate that.
Yep. Gary Trent we talked about.
Trey.
I mean, I'm never going to argue getting Bryn Forbes in there. Might be the most action I'll
Me
see all year, to be
neither.
honest.
Oh, I know who
Spotty
Joe
out of
wants.
that.
Joe wants to see Grayson Allen get in there.
Nah, Pat Connaughton, bro. Gotta keep the wife happy. I think a dark horse. Some dark horses? Cam Johnson, I think, could be a dark horse for Phoenix.
Bro, Cam Johnson would be so much better if he was allowed to catch the ball and shoot it, because I feel like he's like the best catch and shoot 3-point shooter that nobody seems to talk about.
I mean, he shoots 6 threes a game.
Dude, I wonder how much that actually impacts players.
He shoots 6 threes a game, and he's 3rd in the league in 3-point percentage.
Dude, he's awesome.
Holy shit.
He's awesome. I wonder how much that impacts players in the 3-point shootout, like the process of grabbing the ball off the rack and then, you know what I mean? I mean, the professionals.
You know who's tied in 3-point percentage but shoots more per game? Luke Kennard.
Yeah.
I would like to see Luke Kennard in there.
I wish it was more than 6 players, but time constraints, I guess. I know they used to have more than 6.
I feel like it used to be 8, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I think it did. I think All-Star Weekend used to be a much more anticipated weekend in the NBA. Like,
I
it
feel
used
like
to be much more
absolutely.
entertaining.
I feel like I should know the answer to this question. Has anybody performed in both the dunk and 3-point shootout? Is that even allowed?
I feel like that was like a 90s thing.
Right.
Or
Because
maybe
you know
early
what would be awesome
2000s.
for that? Anthony Simons.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Yeah, it is.
And Ant. I wanted to see Ant in the dunk contest. Ant.
I want Kevin Porter Jr. in All-Star Weekend somehow. Get him back to Cleveland.
So I'll say this. Anthony in the chat just said we should have Joel Embiid out there in the 3-point contest.
Guy's shooting almost 40% from 3.
Well, producer Thomas also said we need to have an all big man 3-point contest. So Thomas, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Get Thomas in here.
Jump on here. Give us like if you had a 4-man 3-point contest. It was all
Cat's gotta
centers.
be in there.
You mean the best shooting
I
center
want to hear it
ever?
from Thomas though. I want to hear it from Thomas.
Yeah,
Thomas,
that's fair. If Thomas can come out from behind the
in
glass.
here. I don't know
If
if
he
he's
doesn't say
doing
JaVale McGee, Bismack, so he might not even be here right now. Might just be letting it ride.
All right, well,
Jared Allen.
Let's start
Jared
there.
Allen in there.
There
he is. Hold on.
There he is.
All right. Here we go.
So he's got the USA kit on.
This quad box is just insane.
All right, Thomas, give us 4 guys, all center 3-point competition. Who's your 4?
All right. I mean, JaVale McGee.
I love it.
First off, Stefano's take that Wilt Chamberlain would be JaVale McGee in this day and age. JaVale McGee is the Wilt Chamberlain of the modern era. I don't mean that in a pejorative way. We have to recognize the great.
Just too athleticism for his own good. Too athletic
Exactly.
for his own good.
I've watched that man command the floor for a series in an NBA game. Live in person at Oracle. It was a breathtaking moment.
He used to be like the poster boy for Shaq and a Fool, and now he has carved out like a very legitimate role with the Contender.
Yep.
Hey.
Talk about a 30 for 30. That's all I'm going to say.
How many
JaVale
rings
has
does he have?
limited attempts this year.
He's got one with Golden State. Does he have any other ones?
Lakers, right?
That's right. Yeah.
The bubble team, he was on the bubble team.
So I think if you were to do a big man 3 competition, you have to stipulate some ground rules because,
right.
Obviously Kevin Durant, Giannis, that's not.
Yeah, they don't
no
count.
one wants
They
to see
don't
that.
You need like true-ish centers. I think the
true
most.
centers.
Like
It
JJ
was
and chat just
solid.
put Siakam. You can't put Siakam in there.
Yeah, Siakam's not in there.
The way you have to do it is it's not a height requirement. It's a 3-point percentage requirement. If you shoot over 30% from 3, you are not allowed.
So Embiid can't do it then.
Embiid can't. Neither can Karl Anthony Towns. So this has to be like piss poor shooting.
Yeah.
Just for the sheer entertainment, having 7-footers throwing the rock. Okay.
We're talking this is about bricks. You win this contest by making 2 3-pointers.
Okay.
That's what we're here to see. Shaq is the celebrity guest shooter every year.
Dwight Howard's gonna be too good from 3
facts.
to make it there. I'm trying to think who you can add.
Isaiah Stewart is in there, shooting 13% on half an attempt per game.
There you go.
I feel like you gotta put Boban in there.
Dude, no, but Boban.
That's what I mean.
Dude,
Boban's
man.
actually a decent shooter. Yeah.
He's
gonna go.
better than decent. If you watch that guy shoot in warmups and stuff, obviously he doesn't attempt threes in the game very often. But
What about Ben Simmons?
Yes.
Alfred
Benson
Şengün?
would be in the 3-point contest. He's not an active NBA player though.
That's
He'd
true.
have to come in as a guest.
true. Xavier Tillman attempts 0.9 threes per game.
What's Jared Allen's percentage, Zach?
Wait, Dame was in the dunk contest?
Yeah.
So
How many years ago was that?
I don't know. Like,
Probably his rookie or second year.
This is a good trivia question from Tyreek. Only 2 guys have competed in both the dunk and 3-point contest in the same weekend. I assume
I would have said
Damian Lillard, and who else?
I would have said before Tyreek mentioned him before and then didn't delete the comment. I would have said Brent Barry, but now I don't think it's Brent Barry. I think it's
Is
MJ.
it Michael Jordan?
Yeah, I think it's MJ.
Gotta be Jordan.
Yeah.
And says Bol. Yeah, but Bol shoots a little bit too well for I think what.
Yeah,
we're
we need to come up with
here.
our
Oh wow,
definitive
it was
four.
not Jordan.
Wow.
It was not Jordan.
Taco Fall, by the way, 3-point contest.
Taco Fall would be a good one.
Oh, T-Mac.
Did Tracy McGrady do both?
I knew he did. I think it's that era.
Is Taco Fall in the NBA? I'm pretty
He's
sure
on
the Cavs
TV
sent it
now.
back
Oh,
down.
is it Kenny Smith?
No.
He's on TV now. Is it Kenny Smith? It's gotta be if he's on TV. It is Kenny Smith. Let's go.
All right.
Really?
I knew he did the dunk. I knew he did the dunk contest. Kenny was nice. He was
Lost the
really
dunk
nice.
contest.
Yeah, he still participated. How many dunk contests have you participated in, Zach?
Oh, more than I should.
Oh no,
It wasn't on 10-foot
no.
rims. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, bring out the tape.
1990 slam dunk contest runner-up Kenny the Jet Smith.
Who won that dunk contest?
Dominique.
Okay, yeah, Kenny stood no chance.
How about we go? What's our 4? I'll throw Robin Lopez's name.
Ooh, that's a good one. Robin Lopez is a good one. Both the other centers in that team shoot too well with Mo Bamba and Wendell Carter. Goga Batadze.
It's hurt.
Oh, good call.
Also shoots.
Oh, and so was I. Yeah. I feel like we gotta get like Alex Len in there.
Omer Yurtseven. He's also
Yeah,
hurt,
that's a
so
good
never
one.
mind.
Well, but 0.2 attempts per game, 14%. Jared
Ivica
Allen,
Zubac.
0.2 attempts per game, 11%.
What about Ivica Zubats?
No
I think
attempts.
I was
Doesn't
gonna say-
qualify. You got to at
Damn.
least shoot one. And that could be a
Okay.
half-court shot to qualify for this competition. So
Steven Adams, then. I feel like that's gotta be an obvious one.
Yeah, I would love to see
no
Steve
attempts.
Adams.
no attempts.
Damn.
No attempts. He doesn't even have like a half court heave.
I'll tell you, I'm looking at the list here of guys that are centers on ESPN. And for some reason, I'm extremely surprised that Hassan Whiteside hasn't fucked around and jacked up a three-pointer.
I have the answer, by the way.
Okay.
DeMarcus Cousins.
He's too good.
Not this year.
Bro,
Under
DeMarcus
30%. I
Cousins-
thought 30% was the threshold.
Yeah, but you know, DeMarcus
I
Cousins
know.
would blow these dudes out. Not even close. He's also hurt.
True.
He's not. I need to get a different list because
Which,
this is
would
only.
you rather see? Someone hit like a Steph Curry set another record for consecutive 3-pointers?
No,
in the
I
contest?
want bricks. I want bricks because then
Yeah.
you get so pumped when one goes in.
Yeah, that's true.
I want a winner with 5 made 3-pointers for the entire contest.
Yeah, like the final round, the second shooter comes
The
up.
chat-
He
the
needs-
chat wants
He needs
Boban.
4 to win.
The chat wants Boban.
But see, but that's what I'm saying. Like, Josh and Anthony, you don't understand how good of a shooter Boban is. This guy's almost a 90% free throw shooter.
Who would you rather
At least when
see
he was
in
in
the,
San Antonio.
in the 3-point contest? Josh Kalachi or Boban Marjanovic?
Josh,
Oh,
of course.
Kalachi, no question. Kalachi should be in the dunk contest.
Yeah, no, little
that's a
too,
dunk
like-
contest I can participate in.
Well, little takes.
They should.
Yeah, I
do
barely
that.
jump
You
over
have
the
to
phone book, man.
Get the 5 shortest players in the league and have them do a dunk contest.
All right, yeah,
Who would be
let's
Who
do
would
that
be the
now.
5 shortest players in the NBA right now?
It's Isaiah's not in the league. He was earlier.
Is Rondo still in the league?
Yeah, he's on the backup on Cleveland.
I feel like Devontae Graham being listed at 6'1" is very generous. He's small. Devontae Graham is very small.
Yeah,
There's also
Are there
there's
any
guys
players-
that are listed taller than they are.
that's.
Are there any
yeah, it's
players
tough.
listed under 6 foot?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
imagine.
There's plenty. Marcus Howard for the Nuggets.
Oh, Marcus Howard's good.
Kemba is like barely 6 foot.
Yeah. I think that both of those guys could maybe be listed a little bit taller than they actually are.
I'm
Trey
fine with
Burke.
that. Lower the rims, and have a little dunk contest.
Trey Burke.
Trey Burke's another good one. Yep. Yep. Oh, Thad Young coming alive in 10 minutes. 2 points, 6 boards, and a steal.
There you go.
Still, Derek White, I saw +9 while everyone else on the team is just getting smoked.
Tyus
Trae
Jones.
Jones
Tyus Jones is not.
Tyus Jones, that's another good one.
He's pretty small.
He's not in the league anymore, but Chris Clemens, 5'9".
I mean, if we want to go that route, just where
Earl
to go.
Boykins, like,
yeah,
what?
I was gonna say, exactly.
I was gonna say, do we ever see another Muggsy Earl Boykins sized player in the league?
No, because unfortunately, because I think Isaiah Thomas was a bit of an anomaly in terms of their ceiling. I think the most likely outcome that you get with guys like that is a Marcus Howard. Like, you need to be able to just
How tall's Kyle
to be
Lowry?
a depth guy. Kyle Lowry's, I'd say 6'1".
Ish
He's got a
Smith.
dump truck though. Ish Smith small. Ish Smith is small. It's a good one. Ish Smith also is like a small man's name. That sounds really weird to say, but like you hear the name Ish Smith and you don't think they're 6'6".
Well,
Ben
the
Simmons
Suns
maybe
don't the
also.
Suns have a center named Ish
Yeah.
Wainwright?
Shut up, Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying,
Wainwright's not really a center though.
best
Yeah.
All-Star game appearance of all time was in the NHL last year with John Scott. We need more. We need more of that. The fan vote is a good thing.
Oh, that's the that was the guy who what did he barely play for a team, or what was the story there again?
Yeah, he was like he was a up and down between the minors and majors player. He was totally voted in as a meme, and he made it. And the league tried to get him to turn it down, and he said, "No, I'm going." And he ended up scoring a goal, and they carried him off the ice.
That would be like that would essentially be like what was his name? Andre Ingram.
Oh
That
Yes.
journeyman. That would be the same. The NBA equivalent would be Andre Ingram making the.
That was
See,
so fun.
Dude, I'll take that over Andrew Wiggins. Fucking Andrew Wiggins
here we go.
Andrew Wiggins is paid. Andrew Wiggins was a #1 pick. And again, he's a very much an above average player on both ends of the court. I would rather see Andre Ingram starting in the All-Star game than fucking Andrew Wiggins. Because Andrew Wiggins, they're trying to
Wow.
justify.
Yeah, that's
At
fair.
least then I could have some
So
fun.
okay.
How
There's
mad
a
would
lot
you
of
be if
Andrew
he just
Wiggins
made the
slander
All-Star
out
team, though, Zach? Because I
here.
think
Would
he's
he
had a
irate
very
like
good
he is
season.
now? He has.
Like, all jokes aside, he's had a
Wiggins?
great season.
I would have been surprised, but I wouldn't be
Right.
as upset.
Do we? Okay.
How
Zach,
would you
so-
be mad if Murray was in and Wiggins was still a starter?
Yes.
Okay. Just
So here, but my issue is how he was selected with the fan vote being so heavily weighted. Because if you look at the people who actually watch basketball, and I won't give credit to all 100 media members because the 100% of those people don't watch enough basketball. But if the coaches had put Andrew Wiggins in, I have no issue with it because those guys are in it every day. They just stand on the court and coach against him. I trust that judgment way better than us four yahoos, much less the people that don't watch basketball and get on Twitter and say Tyler Hero should have made it.
All I'm hearing is Texas man rails against California election results.
We've never heard that one before.
So Zach, I'm just giving you a heads up. The Twitter thumbnail for the pod tomorrow is definitely going to be that picture of you and Andrew Wiggins.
God damn it. Son of a bitch. I haven't been on Facebook in probably 4 or 5 years. I think I just need to delete that shit. So Tyree, go. You better save that photo archive that you seem to have now, because I feel like I need to wipe the internet of all those pictures.
What? So, skills challenge is still it's guards versus bigs, correct? We won't see Sabonis this year because he's hurt. I assume Bam will be in it. I bet Cat will be in it. What are the
They
big
did a
men?
bracket last year where it was a guard and a big in the first round, and then they continued.
Bam won, didn't he?
Okay.
Jokic usually does it, right?
Okay.
Yeah, Jokic usually does it. We might see Draymond in there as a big. Oh no, he's hurt. Never mind.
He's not even playing the game.
Interesting. Maybe that's the Evan Mobley time to shine.
I mean, he'll already have the Rising Stars or whatever it's called. So
Yeah, because he is the rising star, right?
yeah.
I can't wait for him to swept in the first round. Sorry, Adam.
Listen, I'm not expecting him to make a run, but
That's fair.
Did anybody predict this Torian Prince resurgence? Because he fucking exploded the other night
from
for a
Minnesota?
massive
I don't
fantasy
know.
night. And now 9 minutes, he's got 12 points, 3 boards,
Jeez.
4 or 5.
He was on that Atlanta team, wasn't he?
Yeah.
yeah.
With
And he's
Budenholzer?
been
Yeah.
everywhere since then.
I was gonna say
Was he on Atlanta first or Toronto? Because I feel like those are the two places where he actually made an impact.
I think Atlanta is what got him paid in Toronto. Or wait.
Am I confusing him with Damari Carroll?
I'm confusing with Damari Carroll as well.
I feel like I should feel bad about that, but
they're two they're very similar players.
Similar career arcs too.
Them and DeAndre Bembry. I confuse those three all the damn time. I think they've all played for the Hawks.
Yeah, Bembry has for sure.
That's a good point. They have
not to bring it off track here, but real quick, if you lose by double digits to the Kings, you should forfeit your playoff eligibility.
I can't laugh. Cleveland lost by double digits to the Rockets yesterday.
I mean, yeah, okay. I'm not gonna say anything so the Bucks are playing, so you guys can have a good time with this conversation.
Well, I'm glad to see that the Heat do have a 9-point lead on my Spurs here with 3 minutes to go in the first half. Thad Young's still stuck on that 2-6 and a steal. Derek White kind of, I think, leading the way fantasy-wise here. On the other side, really the bench mob doing it for Miami. Dwayne Dedmon, big first rotation there. 12 minutes here in the first half. 9 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, 2 blocks. And Tyler Hero, all-star snub, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. A snub to some.
Yeah.
The all-star game needs a hero.
Shut up. God, that was such a good dad joke.
Has anything been going on in this Phoenix-Atlanta game?
I was just trying to pull it up. Looks like
Phoenix is down
almost
1.
into the first.
Booker has 10.
Oh, wow. I saw I parlayed, Minnesota and Phoenix money line both losing to Detroit and Atlanta. That's great.
Sharp.
Razor sharp. Sorry, guys.
So I tweeted this earlier. I want to get your take. I said Atlanta might be like the most dangerous second half team because they've been playing better in the first place, and I think they're going to trade for somebody. So like I think Atlanta could like get up to like a 4 or 5 seed very easily.
Ooh, that's high.
Is it though?
That's a big climb with how packed in 1 through 9 are right now.
Yeah,
that's fair. But like,
oh wow! Someone just tweeted James Harden on offense without free throw attempts. It's a picture of Semi Ojeleye. Oh wow! Oh my God, that's hilarious. Just so wrong though.
I won't go that far, but
no, dear Lord, no.
It's somewhere in between that and what Harden is with free throws, and I think it leans towards like it's not exactly in the middle. It's closer to Semi than it is to what Harden is with free throws.
Well,
he's not. I mean, we saw it at the start, right, when the refs weren't giving him all those calls.
Yeah,
not
that's
the
true.
Same player.
I have a buddy who's a big Rockets fan, and a couple years back when Clay made like 3rd team All-Pro over Harden, he was relentlessly pissed off, and I have never failed to bring that up again, especially as Harden has begun his decline.
Yeah.
I guess going back to the Hawks just for a second there, Adam, like I do think they are locked into at least a play-in here because you look at the teams that are now behind them as we sit here now: Wizards, Knicks, Pacers, Pistons, Magic. Those last 3 certainly not getting in, and I think the Wizards and the Knicks just kind of continue to trend down as the Hawks, like you said, trend up slightly here.
Yeah, the Knicks, I mean, I talked about on the pod last week, like not only are they playing poor basketball, but their schedule is not going to be doing them any favors. Keldan Johnson also just got hurt.
Damn. Fuck.
That's good for the tank, but you want to make sure he's okay.
That did cross my mind before you said that, but also I just don't want to see the big body go down.
Siakam, by the way, Zach, for good first quarter for him, 6-4 and 2. Perfect
Siakam
shooting.
at center.
But yeah, Atlanta. The thing I like about Atlanta is like, and I'm pretty sure we talked about this too. Their offense is going to be top 5 as long as Trae Young is active. Their defense has been close to the middle of the pack since DeAndre Hunter has been back in the lineup consistently. And they have a bunch of expiring contracts and future picks to go get Jeremy Grant, to go get, whoever, Harrison Barnes. And then all of a sudden, like, they're pretty deep. Like, Herter. I always forget, too, how, like, Kevin Herter's 6'7", 6'8".
What?
Like, yeah, right?
Oh, my. I thought, whenever I think like 6'4".
Yeah, Kevin Herter's, like, legitimately 6'7".
Red Velvet.
So, that team, again, are they as good as they were last year when they made that run? I don't know, but like similar to Toronto. Like, I wouldn't want to play them. More so Toronto, but I wouldn't want to play Atlanta.
I know we discussed this on Tuesday night on the kind of trade deadline preview pod, but I do think that team looks different in a week.
Mm-hmm.
Zach,
Like,
how
they
tall
have-
are you?
Like 6 foot, a little over 6 foot. Like, I think I can get away with 6'1".
I profile identically to Zach. My fiance
What?
tries to tell me I'm 5'10". It's bullshit.
Wait, are you serious, Joe?
I'll say this, Thomas. Did you think Joe was taller than that or shorter than that?
Oh, I thought Joe was shorter than that. I thought Joe
No.
was my height.
Really?
No,
Dude, because
how
I
tall are
thought Joe. I would have said 6'3" for Joe.
Stefano thought I was 6'2" when I stayed with him, but just wasn't. I wish.
But just wasn't. Like, it just happened that way. Like, I showed up and I wasn't 6'2".
No,
It was weird.
I would argue I'm a solid 6 foot.
I could have seen Zach being like 6'4".
Same.
I wish, man. Would have been a better player.
Adam, how tall are you?
Like 5'11".
Okay. All just some average white dudes in here.
Hey, maybe we should call the podcast that. Just average white dudes.
Yeah, you want to destroy our NBA credibility there. That's the first way to do it.
Karl Anthony Towns just picked up a tech, so something to keep an eye on.
He's also not playing well, which sucks.
Yeah.
So that's not great.
Tyreek says he's a strong 5'6". Tyreek, I would have gone the way of Joe. I would have said 6'2". I mean, I've seen pictures of Tyreek before, and I've talked to him on a stream before. Interesting.
I'm about to go from having never met someone from FTN in person to meeting like 3 people by the end of the month. So I'm about to learn a whole lot about heights.
What are you doing?
Everyone's coming to him.
Yeah. Joe's coming to town next weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And then right
That'll be
after
fun.
Joe leaves, Friedman rolls in.
And
Nice.
Benny's going to be there too, I believe.
What?
I think Benny's going to be there for FSGA as well.
Oh, no way. That'll be
I think so.
awesome.
And then
And then
Meanie's
next
there
weekend- Who?
the next month. Meanie's there the next month.
Oh, perfect. And then I'm going out to LA, so I'm going to hook up with Javi.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I wonder how tall all of it. We just need to get FTN together. Subs, everyone, just ball out.
FTN
The
meet up.
FTN NBA draft.
I mean, just have like a weekend-long 3-on-3 basketball tournament.
Yes.
And Zach, I believe it was already you, me, and Stefano on a team.
Mhm.
Just dust everyone. You know, John Kelly has a really nice jump shot.
I mean, John Kelly, Mike Kutry. That's a.
I feel like Adam has it.
duo.
Adam feels like a sneaky facilitator to me.
That's how I play. That's exactly how I play. I'm like Rubio, like in his prime. Like, I just don't shoot.
I used to dominate family basketball games because I'm the tallest viola in recorded history.
Okay. Holy
And
crap.
5'9", I'm our
Triple
big
H
man.
says he's 6'5".
I can see that. Wasn't Triple H like, or isn't he like a probation officer or something like that? I guess whenever he described what he did
He's just
for a
FU guy to me.
living,
I'm just kidding.
he profiled to me as somebody just in my head that was a bigger guy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Josh
Someone
said
said
he's 6'3" and can dunk.
Someone
So-
said who's picking up Kalachi? Kalachi profiles as an intramural coach in the best way possible, like the one that wears the suit to his intramural team's game.
I'll take
Well-
Kalachi as my coach any day.
Yeah, I will too. Love Josh. Well, that was fun. Still tilting a little bit over a couple of selections, but it happens every year.
think I'm
Let's
gonna
hope
take the under
DeJounte Murray
this
gets
year.
in. What'd you say?
I think I'm taking the under this year.
That's bold in an All-Star game. It's gonna be set at probably 295, maybe higher. It might be set around 300. Well, I'm going to be placing that bet next weekend in Vegas. So if you guys are listening, anyone in Vegas, want to meet up February 10th to 13th, I'll be there.
And I'm just there in general.
Yeah, Thomas is there all the time. So
Literally.
enjoy. Yeah, not all the time as in like he's just a degenerate that goes all the time. He's a degenerate that lives there. Yes, correct. You made the smart fiscal decision and lived there instead of paying the travel costs. Well, that was fun. Thomas, appreciate you jumping on with us for a few minutes.
Appreciate
Adam and
being here.
Zach.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate you guys sticking around for 2 hours so I can prioritize NBA stuff over my wedding, which is what I've always wanted to do. So we'll be back, I believe, next Tuesday. And then next Thursday, I will not be here, but you guys have an awesome trade deadline show lined up.
Cannot
you are
wait.
going to want to, and the thing is, if you haven't signed up for FTN Network yet, or FTN Daily, excuse me, sure, you'll get access to the free trade deadline show, but that DFS slate is going to be bonkers. It is every year. Get your edge. Use promo code FTNTV. Get 15% off of every package, particularly NBA. If you want to go the monthly route, you get 15% off of every month, not just that first initial month. Join us before the trade deadline. Get your edge. One of Eddie Fear's favorite slates of the year, and those are slates you want to take advantage of. Do you guys have anything else before we head out?
No, I'm going to go eat some food and watch some basketball.
I'm just amazed you're leaving the doomsday bunker.
I am. I'm gonna have like a couple Campbell soup cans with me. I'll have it like different rolls of gauze and stuff in my backpack. I'll be ready. Very apocalyptic in Vegas. But yes, I'm excited. So for Adam, for Joe, for Thomas, for Zach, this is the FTN NBA podcast. And Thomas, as always,
let's get these beans.